Warning: the following episode of Orsini's Uncensored Mind contains explicit language and adult content. The thoughts and opinions stated on the show are reflective of AJ Orsini and his guests exclusively. But seriously, guys, the show's called Uncensored. If you got a problem with bad language, I really don't give a shit. Specifically the same exact month as I am AJ Orsini, and I'm joined yet again in the passenger seat here is to see Dave. Dave, every time I hear that question mark, I just giggle a little inside.
What question? Oh, yeah, you hear the question mark in her voice?
Yeah, Dave?
The uncertainty. I get it. I get it.
That's because I was going to say when we first did that, it was funny. Now it's becoming all too real.
Listen, man, sometimes you can just talk things into existence, and I think that's what she did.
She willed it to happen. Oh, boy. Bro, what a week.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Kinda. Sure.
Kind of a week.
It depends on how you perceive it, really.
Well, from what I heard, we'll start with you, though. I mean, from what I just heard before we went on the air here, it appears you have been, quote, and this is coming from the wife, been busting your ass all week.
I know, right?
I believe is the exact word.
My name and that sentence usually don't go hand in hand. I'm just saying.
Oh, man, what kind of week are we talking about for you here, soon-to-be dad? What's going on?
I'm just putting a lot of stuff together, chasing around the mail people with my stuff that I've been waiting for. Wow. We weren't really supposed to get anything until next week, but for whatever reason, everything lined up on the same day. So we got a bunch of shit like the decals and stuff we want to put on the wall. We painted the wall and all that stuff like that. It all actually came yesterday. The crib apparently came yesterday, but we live in an apartment where you need a key swab, and the mail people aren't allowed to leave it on the outside anymore. They all got killed for that. So apparently the weekend guy doesn't have a key fob, but all the other guys do. So he kept taking our crib with him. So he came early. I called him, said, yo, just tell him to call me anything. I don't give me the New York whistle at the window, bro.
Hit it with the year out the window.
Yeah, yo, give me something, bro. I will come downstairs, because it was literally somewhat of the last big piece, because everything going on the wall was going around that.
Oh, yeah.
So he came back apparently, but again didn't call me, didn't do anything.
Because he's a jackwagon.
He sat there for a few minutes and then just left because he couldn't get in the building. He's not allowed to leave it outside. So I was supposed to have that, but aside from that, just cleaning up, getting things ready, moving things around, throwing stuff out, and then on top of just already working is kind of exhausting. But we're doing all right though. Things are looking pretty good. We got our section all picked out. Everything's looking nice already, so can't complain.
There you go. And you managed to fit in some wrestling in the middle of all of that.
That was the first time in a very, very long... You know what? I'm starting to find myself... This is 2 years in a row now that I've actually sat there on the couch and did nothing else. You know how I watch TV.
Yeah.
I watch TV on the side.
Yeah, it's a byproduct of whatever it is you're actually doing.
Exactly, and I've grown to be able to pay attention from doing that because I've just been doing that so long. Both days I was actually on the couch with it on, watching the whole thing full attention. So I know it's starting to become a tradition.
Yeah, man.
Starting to become a tradition.
Or at least the return of a tradition, because it's something that we did used to do when we were kids.
Yeah, but even then, I had the N64 on the side.
Or the little TV on the ground.
Yeah, the little TV on the floor to the side.
Yeah.
I always had a little TV. You know what? For a kid, I don't know where I get these TVs. Well, I just always had TVs.
Yeah. And it's mobile ones, like ones that you can take.
Define mobile. They were pretty big for the time, I would just carry them.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like before the age where we could just take a laptop in our back pocket and go somewhere, you were lugging actual televisions.
Absolutely.
To wherever you needed to go, because the game is not going to play itself.
No. And time is money. I play MMOs. Like I don't have time to waste. Like you're cool, but I can't go a day without grinding, or I'm just gonna fall behind.
Yeah. So on my end here, I would like to take the time to thank all those who came to the House of O for WrestleMania Night 1. We have not done a WrestleMania party in my home for forever, for obvious reasons. And it went well. I had a lot of last minute cancellations, but that's the norm. Whenever you invite anybody anywhere, that's the norm. Eventually, everyone wakes up that morning and decides, you know what, I can't make it. So,
I think that was always the norm, but social pressure always pushed people to go. And now everyone has that out. They wake up and they're just like,
fuck it. Yeah. So, that's why I always over-invite. My wife goes, oh, why did you invite like 12 people? Trust me, 4 are coming. And I think that was the exact number, actually, because, no, it was actually more than 4. So I wanted to, Joe came. His wife wasn't able to make it, Joe Pombo, who was on the round table.
When I saw Joe there, and as I was watching this, and I'll make this point a little bit better. I feel like this WrestleMania was very different, but not only was it very different, I feel like it was very successful in it being different, and I feel like Joe would have been a great person to watch that with.
Yeah, he missed because his wife was sick. Like I said, his wife was not feeling well. He missed like the first 3 matches. He got there just in time for like basically the second half of Night 1. So I mean, I would have loved to have been joking around with him the whole time, but Brandon came.
Nice.
Haven't seen him in a while. Came with the mighty Alicia. They came.
Ooh,
so that was
the dynamic duo,
huh? The dynamic duo.
The power nerd couple.
Yes. I'm going to bring this up later as to illustrate a point. But my other family members came. My 2 sisters and my mom were here as well. Yeah. They showed up because my brother's, he's into his own shit. So it is what it is.
Your brother is broke as hell and can't pay tolls. That's what your brother is.
If that was the issue, you should have said something then, because you'd have got a money in your pocket right then and there.
Yeah, we were thinking about. I woke up, especially at that round table. I was like, "Fuck, I kind of want to go," but it's not just that either. Again, like I said, I have to consider sleep now. Yes. Like I never did before. You know that I would do crazy shit like drive to your house at 3 a.m, but I have to consider sleep now, or I'm fucked. So,
otherwise, weeks like this week don't happen.
Absolutely true, very true.
So that was an interesting day, and then the next day we kind of took it easy. That's where we're going to start with this, because I wanted to bring this up as a point. The 2 nights, right? So it's a little cumbersome, if I can put a fine point on. Like, I had the party. We're eating, we're drinking, we're having a great time. Night 1 ended the way that it did, and we'll get to that. You kind of got it all out. The next day, I'm going to be honest with you, it didn't even feel like a WrestleMania day. I actually, for a fleeting moment there, kind of forgot there was a second fucking part to it.
So you weren't excited for it?
I was. As we got closer, I started getting juiced. But Saturday, I was juiced all day. I was ready for it. Maybe the party had something to do with that, but I was in it. I actually watched the pre-show Night 1. I didn't watch the pre-show for Night 2. And I was just, I don't know. The second night, we did that last year. So last year in Tampa, they had 2 nights. I probably was more excited last year because I was there, but B, I was only there for Night 2. So I got to witness Night 1 basically from the hotel room, And
right, you had your night one hype, and then your night two hype was because you were going.
Right, exactly. So I wasn't watching from home. This was my first time doing the 2 nights from home, and it's not the same. I don't know how to really put a fine. It was so weird. Maybe because night one, and I don't know how you feel about this. Maybe you can chime in here with that. I felt like night one was far superior than night two. I don't know. Night two to me kind of fell off a little bit. What did you think? Which one was the better of the 2 nights?
I think they were both consistently really good, and we'll get into that as we talk about it. But again, it plays into something different that I've noticed, and we'll go from there. I thought they were both great, though.
You thought they were both great. Okay.
I thought they were both great. And it really felt like everything we pointed out that they really needed to do to make this work, it sounds like they were like listening. It feels like they did almost everything we were talking about.
I mean, we made, sometimes that happens when we do the roundtables. I can vouch for the fact that it's happened a few times. But 9 times out of 10, whenever we have people on the roundtable, it's usually people who have been either watching this for forever or are in the business, and they're just making the next logical steps.
Right.
And I feel like this time around, and I think the biggest example of that, and again, we'll get into it, we're teasing right now a lot of different things, but Knoxville and Sami Zayn. That was the most controversial of the weekend, but it shouldn't have been. We said exactly what it was going to be.
You guys sold that to me because it was to me, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, you know me, I'm I've become, and I have no clue how, because I'm usually the opposite. I've become somewhat anti-nostalgia. I just hate it because it just never feels the same.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy, did they play on that string this whole WrestleMania, and I just feel like it worked. It just fucking worked.
Yep. And the nostalgia angle is something that we'll discuss when we wrap everything up, because I'd rather talk about we'll talk about each thing, and then because I got a major nostalgia point for that, and it may be a cause for concern. So we'll get to all that. But let's stop beating around the bush and get right into this. It's 14 matches that we got to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about.
We got a road to hoe here. So why don't we go ahead? I did mention the pre-show earlier. Did you get a chance to catch any of the pre-shows?
I did not do any pre-show. I was literally working, not work, but doing stuff in the house up until the moment the first match started.
There was absolutely no reason to watch that fucking pre-show. I had it on in the house while I was finishing up different things. I had a party happening, right? So I got people coming still. So I'm doing things in the house. I'm cleaning up the kitchen. I'm putting this here. I got the chicken out. I got, we're putting food out. We got the beer on ice. We're doing things. It's on in the background. And it's a 2-hour pre-show. And about an hour in, my wife, all of a sudden, she goes, there hasn't been any matches. And I thought about it for a second because I wasn't really paying attention. And I realized they didn't have any matches for the pre-show. And I started remembering, I said, because we were at the stadium last year. I said, I don't think they had any last year, too. Ever since the 2 nights, they don't put on preliminary matches anymore. When the last time that they were just a one-day event was WrestleMania 35. Again, I was in the building with Steph. They had 4 pre-show matches for the 2-hour pre-show. They had none. They've had none ever since the 2 nights. So I don't know if that's a great idea, because I got to tell you, these pre-shows are dry. They're just talking. And I get it. We did a round table the night before, but our round table, albeit longer than 2 hours, when you combine 2 nights in a row, you're talking about 4 consecutive hours of just repetitive. We go over each match and then we're done. They're talking about the same match over and over and over and over again, and they're bringing in different people. They had NFL players come and sit on the panel to talk about the matches, and then JBL did, and then Lawler did, and then Booker T did. They just went over and over. I was like, I'm done.
Well, what's the difference between that and ESPN?
Not much of a difference, but at least,
and that's why they did it.
Yeah, and I applaud them for that, but at the same time, I'm going to be honest with you. As much as I love wrestling, I'd rather SportsCenter do it. They do it better, or ESPN.
And give them time. But I'm not a big fan of that either. It's the reason why I don't watch pre-shows. I don't want you to tell me the same thing that Tom Brady did last year that could possibly win him a Super Bowl this year over and over and over until it's game time. There's no different. Yeah. But you will see that pattern. Again, I don't know maybe if I'm just paying attention to it a little bit more, but there is definitely a pattern in this WrestleMania that I've seen that is just driving towards that same thing that you're saying about the pre-show.
No, okay. Well, night one, Saturday, April 2nd, AT&T Stadium, Dallas, Texas. They didn't mention it till later, but I'll start off with this, the attendance. I was so sad. Sad.
Is it too small?
77,000, which is not a bad number, especially in these times.
Right.
And last year at WrestleMania, they were in a stadium. They were only allowed up to 25,000. That's why probably why they didn't boast about the attendance last year. But this year they had all. It's Texas. If it was up to Texas, they would have a bowl of Corona sitting on the sides of the.
Everyone wash their hands in as they
they would just bathe in Corona. It's Texas. They didn't give a fuck. But it was 77,000, and the reason why my initial reaction was, "Oh, that kind of blows." This is the same building. I want to say 6 years ago, when they had according to them, we all know that they boost these numbers up, but even for them, they boasted 103,000 people in that building. Same building, 103,000. That was supposedly an indoor record that was supposedly finally beating WrestleMania 3 in the Pontiac Silverdome. Same facility, 30,000 less. And you know they're stretching. They stretch it every year, which means it's probably not even 77,000.
Yeah.
So at first, at my first glance when I saw that, I was like, that kind of blows. But it is what it is. They're getting the numbers.
Again, I think it's more of the time than a comment of wrestling itself.
I don't know. Could be a mixture of the two. But Saturday, April 2nd, we're opening up, and I was surprised by this. And it ended up being a bad decision, but we'll get into that. But we opened up with the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Jimmy and Jay, the Usos, once again, waltz, lallygag in the door as the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. They're taking on the team of Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. And Dave, did you see the ending? I actually thought that was part. I'm going to be honest with you. He fell so smooth. I actually thought it was a part of the spot.
See, that's a comment to some of these guys, man, because and from watching me all the time, I'll ask you, is that real? Like, he's really hurt? And most of the time it's not, but I don't know, it's just something on that guy's face that his shit popped out. Like, the way that he fell, I was like, dude, I think his leg popped out and popped back in. But when it did that, I think it fucking ripped something on the way in and out. Because he had a very difficult time straightening his leg, and the ending felt weird.
Yeah, here's my confusion. So Boogs, for those of you wondering what we're talking about, Boogs.
They're not be wondering what we're talking about.
Yeah, toward the end of this matchup, and I'm saying towards because I don't think this was supposed to be toward the end.
No.
But Rick Boogs picks up, I'm going to say Jay Uso, because he's the short-haired one. He picks up Jay Uso in a fireman's carry. He's got him up on the shoulders. And I guess the spot was, in a show of strength, Jimmy is going to now get closer to where Rick is, and Rick's going to pick him up as well so that he has two Usos on his shoulder at the same time. Here's my confusion. There was no setup to Jimmy getting on his shoulders. Jimmy just ran and jumped for whatever fucking reason. So when Rick fell, that's the reason I thought it was part of the spot. I actually told myself, Jimmy threw his weight on there to collapse Rick down.
Right.
To me, it was an offensive maneuver. Jimmy goes, I'm going to put pressure on this dude and drop him. And that's how I'm going to get Jay out of this hold. That's why when he buckled, I went, I think the spot botched up. And then he grabbed his knee, and I went, that's a good idea. If you're going to botch a spot, you got to blame something.
Good sell.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to blame something, right?
Good recovery.
And then he rolls to the ring, and we never see him again. So Shinsuke now is basically in a handicap match. And I forgot who it was in the room when we were watching this. They said, I think he's really hurt because we haven't seen his ass come back. And I was like, that sucks to be hurt in the opening match at WrestleMania. That'd be garbage. And it turns out, absolutely 100% true. Rick Boogs tore his quadricep He's out for 6 to 8 months. That has got to blow.
Damn.
Working his
shame.
ass off to get to WrestleMania. He's on the card. Not only that, he's the opening match.
Not only that, people love that shit, man.
Yeah.
That whole Shinsuke, him playing the guitar intro shit.
Yeah, now he's not gonna have the guitar intro thing for a little while. I mean, I guess they could always bring him back to do the intro.
Yeah, kind of like the guy at Walmart that greets you.
Yeah, yeah, something like that.
He doesn't
need to be in a standing position to play the guitar, but you got to feel for this guy. The match itself, it is what it is. It was it started off like your basic run-of-the-mill SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. I'm sure they had some WrestleMania-like spots planned here. I was also a little upset. Did you catch this? They called it the 1D. Did you catch that? Uso off the
is that
3D.
a move that they use all the time?
I've never seen them move that.
Because he literally had it on his pants.
Yeah.
And that's why I was confused. Like, I was like, oh, is this a move that they do? I haven't
never seen them execute that move in my entire
But then didn't they tip the hat to the Dudleys or some shit as well?
Something
like they said it. I feel like an announcer or something said
they
something.
did. They called it
3D.
Yeah, the announcers called it the 1D, and the Usos themselves did the setup like the Dudleys, where Jimmy, who's going to do the lift, he goes for the Irish whip. Jay's already pointing up. Normally, that's where Bubba would do the 3 for 3D.
Yeah.
But he put up the 1 because they're the ones, the day one niggas. You know, that's what their gimmick is. So they just changed it from 1 to 3. Jimmy does the Irish whip. He throws up the 1, picks up Shinsuke, and then here comes Jay with the cutter. So it was set up almost identical to the Dudleys. But I was like, I'm not a fan. I don't. You got your own things going. You're already one of the best of all time. You don't need to be. If it was like a one-time WrestleMania, hey, we're gonna shout out the Dudleys. Dope.
I don't think it will be though.
I was gonna say
he had pants for it. Like his pants said 1D.
They're incorporating it into the gimmick.
That's it, man.
Any other thoughts on
this?
Look,
man, if they gets him away from the super kick, I guess I'll allow it.
Ooh, man. Yeah, okay.
They did far less super kicks in this match, which makes me happy.
Maybe they're getting bored with it.
Oh, that'd be fucking nice.
That would be great.
Hopefully this industry will start getting a little more bored with it.
Well, it is what it is.
I know. I'm getting too ahead of myself.
For the record, what was it? I think me and Sam made that conversation. We were like, no super kicks, no dives to the outside. And what was no destroyers. Just like control your narrative. They were like, yeah, no destroyer. We're incorporating the CYN rules. No Canadian destroyers, no super kicks, no dives, no tope suicidas, which is the through the ropes dive. We're all set.
Damn, dude, we're starting to set perimeters on that. No more of this shit.
Hey, that's old school wrestling. Moves used to be banned all the time back in the day, but for storyline purposes, so that heels could get heat. The pile driver used to be a banned move in almost every territory because it's a pile driver. Realistically, dropping somebody on their head, you should either kill them or paralyze them. So to execute that move, it was like a real heel thing to do. They don't do it behind the referee's back.
Look, man, I'm trying to really sell this pile driver, so I'm gonna actually break your neck, okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to get this move
over.
Trust
me, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. Trust me.
This move over. Don't squirm so much. I need control.
Just take it. I'm telling you, it's gonna work for me. I don't know if it's gonna work.
I don't know if you remember. It used to be illegal to go over the top rope.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
How the hell did the Royal Rumble? The Royal Rumble must have been taboo.
No. What happened was that at the time that this was a thing, I don't remember WWE ever incorporating this. But it was it was like an older rule from back in the territory days where going over the top rope or being thrown over the top rope was a result of a disqualification. The reason for that is because you don't want to, back in those days, going over the top rope was a dangerous thing. You had on the forward, you could do more damage to yourself than your opponent. So they made it illegal to do. So the heels behind the referee's back, they would throw a guy over the top rope or something like that, and the crowd would go fucking bananas. Wait a second, that's fucking illegal. You can't do that. And they go, ha, 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 ha. I'm a heel.
I don't give a shit about
but now people go over the top rope for their fucking entrances and exits, so nobody gives a fuck anymore. But
damn.
We're moving on to... Yeah, so get well, Rick Boogs. 6 minutes 55 seconds. I'm pretty
It was a great start to WrestleMania. I don't have any problems with this match.
Bloodline
I'm actually kind of sad that he got hurt because The energy was pretty good.
Yeah. Both bloodline matches ended before they were supposed to. That's not a coincidence. We'll get into that. But our next matchup, Drew McIntyre defeating Happy Corbin with Madcap Moss in a singles match, 8 minutes, 35 seconds. Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin. I believe you had asked me, okay, sell, right? You said, all right, sell this match to me. What the fuck is happening? What did you think of this match?
I was blown away on how fucking great this match was. This match was so fucking good, dude. This match was, I'm telling you, but listen, I did state that for me it was just the gimmick. Like, it's confusing. Happy Corbin versus McIntyre is just weird. But I also did state that I don't have an issue with Corbin in the ring. And boy, oh boy, did he prove me right when I said that. Yep. Holy shit, these two had a fucking match. And can I ask why these guys who are well over 6'2" are moving like luchadors? They were all over that goddamn ring, and they were throwing each other around like paper. It was nuts how well they were just... I haven't seen a wrestling match like that in a while, where I was just kind of like enthralled in the way that they were actually fighting each other. I was impressed. Yeah. It was good. I really liked that one.
And it didn't dawn on me until I was watching this match. Because the last time Drew was in the title picture was actually last year's WrestleMania when he competed against Bobby Lashley in a losing effort. And they kind of split him off to do other things. He hasn't been in the title picture all year. And I think my wife was saying it during the match. She was just like, what bullshit is this? He was the guy carrying this company during COVID, and they can't even keep him in the thing. And it didn't dawn on me until I was watching the match, and I went, he's a different performer now than he was a year ago. And I'm talking about Drew.
Yeah.
He's a different performer.
You think they're refining him?
You think what?
Do you think they're refining him?
Yeah, well, you said refining, right? Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like sharpening his tools. He's good already. But...
I watched that match, and I realized in my head, because I really haven't watched too many Drew McIntyre matches over the year, but it dawned on me. They found a way. It took a while, and it took a minute to get there, but you can see it. If you watch his Mania match last year with Lashley, and you watch this match, it's a completely different Drew. They found a way to make a 6'8", damn near 300-pound of pure muscle Scottish psychopath be a sympathetic babyface. They found a way to take a guy who looks like that and get him sympathy. Because that's what worked in this matchup. Yes, not everybody's a big fan of the happy segments and blah, 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 blah. But like you said, when Baron gets going, he's a heel. He works like a heel. The audience responds to him like a heel. In that situation, you need a babyface that's going to get the sympathy from the audience while the heel gets the heat. That mathematically worked perfectly in this match. This was old school professional wrestling. And they did it at, like you said, these two guys, stature-wise, size-wise, are humongous. They're big, big boys.
They should not have been around that ring like that.
There was so much movement in this match.
Right.
They're all over the place. And I like the fact that they kept Madcap Moss's involvement to a minimum. Right. I know that, it's WrestleMania. You want to get him on the card somehow. That's cool. But I love the fact that he didn't play a role till the end. It was just these two guys doing their thing.
He was more annoying in a good way than he was.
He didn't take away from anything. Yeah.
Right.
And that's perfect. That was good. His involvement was perfect in this. And it gave these two guys an opportunity to go there and do what they got to do.
And you could tell they love him because before the match, they even gave him like a little mini portion segment of him specifically, like winning like that. There was no reason for that, but obviously they did it because they like this guy and they're trying to get him in the light. So.
Yeah, they gave him a big win on SmackDown. He is this year's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. Mm-hmm. So that was good. The cutting of the rope. Got to talk about this because they had me. They absolutely had me. I was floored. I was like, this is great. This is awesome. This match was a lot of fun. And then they just couldn't get out of their own way
Couldn't resist.
Couldn't resist. They got the sword out. That was a little bit of a cool part where McIntyre's kind of looking at the crowd. Then he points his sword out. He doesn't even look at Madcap. And then Madcap has like that freeze. And then he starts to back up a little bit. And he goes for the rope. And McIntyre takes the sword, swipes it down. He manages to cut through 2 ropes, which were very clearly gimmicked to break.
Which I was wrecking my brain how they went that entire match. But what made it so that the sword broke?
That's the magic of it. I was thinking the same thing. Because
they worked that side of the ring specifically a lot.
Yep.
If you go back and watch that match, they're on those ropes the whole time.
Yeah.
Almost. Yet they still made it to stay attached and also do that gimmick part at the same time.
Yeah, and again, they're not light people. These guys
TV
are heavyweights.
TV magic.
These are heavyweights right here doing it, and they managed to pull that off. I didn't like the rope thing at all. Didn't need it.
You know what I would have been terrified of? Being McIntyre saying, all right, dude, at the end, I knew you're going to swipe your sword on this. And I'm like, all right, well, we're going to be working this side. Oh, don't worry. It's going to be tight enough together where it's like you guys can bounce it, but when you use the sword, it'll break. And then I'd be like, but what if it doesn't? What do you mean? They're fucking bouncy ropes. If I swing this sword as hard as I can and it doesn't give, that shit's coming back to me just as fast.
Yeah. That's why I wasn't surprised he didn't break the 3rd rope, because I'm like, he probably didn't swing that shit.
He held back. Yeah, he's like, bro, you're not slicing my skull.
You saw what happened to Kevin Owens later in the night. If that shit bounces back, son, that's a split skull. Fuck that.
Yeah, nah, I'm good as hell.
I'm straight.
But did you dislike this?
I loved everything up until the rope cutting, and it wasn't.
So why did you not like that?
It's just cheese. Everything.
It's soap opera.
Everything with the fucking sword. I'm just not a fucking fan at all.
So you don't mind gimmicky stuff like that. You just are over the sword specifically, or you
sword
just not
specifically
like...
because I just like how do you? I don't know. It just comes across very Hanna-Barbera. It's a fucking sword. How do you work? It's not like okay if. For instance, Sting used to come to the ring with a fucking bat, right? Part of the gimmick. He'd do the point with the bat. He'd walk around shining the bat up, yada, yada, yada. Eventually, for the gimmick to get over, Sting's got to bust a motherfucker over the head with the bat. Jim Cornette and the tennis racket. I mean, there's a lot of years and years of people coming to the ring with weapons. Eventually, you got to use the fucking weapon. How the fuck are you going to use the sword?
But he has been, though. First of all, to answer your question, this. Second of all, I'm kind of sold on the sword because if they would stop moving, he would have done tons of damage with this sword. Because this guy swings that shit like he is actually trying to decapitate you. The fact that these guys I just want no one to get killed by it, but they're definitely making that sword have an impact. Now, yeah. Sure, maybe this can come off as a little cheesy. I didn't mind it, but I can see why it would be annoying. But he definitely swings that sword like he's trying to kill somebody. So I'll give him that.
And that's the thing. I think it was Brandon. I can't remember. Somebody in the house said, "Well, you know that sword's not a real fucking sword, right?" And it was like, "Well, it could be a stunt sword or a rubber sword, whatever they use."
Still gonna hurt.
But the point, that's not my. Regardless of what material it's made of, the objective here is to get the people to believe it's a real fucking sword. So even if it was a workable sword, even if it was rubber, you're not going to fucking clock a motherfucker over the head with a rubber sword. Right? No. Right. So you're never going to use this fucking sword, ever. There's never going to be a situation where the sword comes into play. You use it for an entrance, and I guess this is the most we've ever seen him actually use a sword in the sense of cutting ropes. But that's it. That's about as much action as you're going to get from the fucking sword.
You know what? I'll take this from the sword. What I am over is people taking other people's vehicles to the back and having like a fucking Street Fighter 2 bonus round on it. Oh, okay. It's just weird. I don't want to see that anymore. I've seen it too many times. Actually, I think McIntyre was one of them who did that.
Oh man. Well,
I forget what it was, but he broke something with a sledgehammer like last year or some shit. That's the one that I'm just like kind of okay with. Like I don't need to see two dudes hammer on a ATV or whatever the fuck you want to call those four-wheeler quads with sledgehammers. Like that just doesn't do anything for me.
I think they just did that on Dynamite.
Well, in general, like I've seen it somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't remember where it was, but I do remember specifically McIntyre doing that. I think last year too to something. I forget exactly. It was like a motorcycle or something.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. I digress.
Well, here's something I wouldn't mind seeing again. Actually, not this specific matchup, but we had a tag team matchup. Our first celebrity involvement of the evening: The Miz and Logan Paul defeating Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, and I was pissed. Not because the match was bad. They picked the wrong guy. Of all the things that I predicted in this matchup, and again, I had to go into a hard sell for this. That was the one match I was certain. There's no fucking way they're going to beat Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania when Dominic is sitting right fucking there. And alas, that's exactly what happened. But at least they didn't have the celebrity do it. Miz pinned Rey Mysterio in this matchup, and if I'm Mysterio, I'm all right. I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Look, dude, I'm cool with everything that we're doing. He's not pinning me.
Yeah,
you can do it.
Yeah.
And Miz just looked at him like, "Listen, I get it.
I get it.
Don't say it out loud. I want him to believe like there was a chance that could happen. I'm not gonna disrespect you like
the
that.
The great
sir.
Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania.
Sir, I wouldn't disrespect you like that. I have a feeling everyone calls Mysterio Sir in the back.
Oh yeah, come on, of course. Well,
Sir,
maybe not Miz.
Mysterio.
Miz and Rey have been in the same locker room for a long time. So some of the younger guys, maybe, sure.
Nah, I feel like he still respects that guy.
Now, well, what did you think of Logan Paul?
That was going to be my question to you, because all of this stuff is fine. At the end of the day, I already called this match was going to be kind of ass. Surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be, so I'll give it that.
Okay.
Before I throw myself out there, I want a chance to be able to adapt to the room, so I want your opinion first, so that I can conform and not look like someone who doesn't know what they're talking about.
So I can conform.
So what did you think specifically about Logan Paul's performance?
Logan Paul was awesome. I liked it.
Okay.
I liked
Fair
it.
enough.
As a matter of fact, I think Logan Paul came off looking a lot better considering he was standing across the ring from Dominic Mysterio. He needs to fucking go. He needs to fucking go. And I don't mean get rid of him.
You think they made Dominic look even worse?
Dominic is Dominic. Here's
the thing I've come to a conclusion with Dominic.
Okay.
It's in his blood. You can definitely see that for sure.
He can do the moves.
Here's the problem. He's not athletic.
No.
And I think that's what it is. He's not athletic. And I never really noticed it, but you ever seen someone who's athletic? I know you have, but obviously it's an analogy. You never seen someone dribble a basketball who was athletic and then someone who wasn't athletic dribble a basketball?
Oh.
Literally just with the right hand, both just bouncing it. You can tell when someone is athletic, and you can tell when someone just knows how to bounce a basketball.
Yeah.
And that's what Dominic Mysterio is to me. He knows how to do it. He has no, oh, God, forgive me for saying, he has no swag to it. There's no athleticism to it. There's no
flair, no charisma to it.
No natural movement to it. Let's
use the terminology that we've been using with his father for years. The reason why his father is so unique is because that boy is nasty. You look at Ray's shit, and it's the only thing you can think of. He's fucking great. Look at his shit. Yeah. You do not get that vibe from Dominic.
He's fluent. He moves. He looks like he belongs there. Things are happening. He
needs to stop doing the 619 too, by the way.
Well,
that needs to come to a fucking end. He is a sandbagging ass. He can't even hold up his own weight in the 619.
He's just not athletic. And you know what made it worse for me? When they showed clips of him in the ring when he was young, his demeanor is exactly the same when he was 5 than it is right now. I don't know if you noticed that, but
yeah, he hasn't really changed too much. Yeah,
his demeanor, the way he's moved, the way his body moves, it's just like he got really big, but everything else just stayed the same.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
He can do the moves. He's not a performer.
And the problem with that stuff is I don't think it matters where you put him. I really don't think it matters where you put him. He's never gonna grow because he doesn't have that. Because he doesn't have that athleticism. You can't train athleticism. Like the way someone moves in a ring, or the way someone plays a sport, or the way someone runs a football and cuts. You can't train that. That is something natural to someone. You can develop it, but you can't train it. And unfortunately, he just doesn't have that. And I don't think he'll just never look good doing moves like his father or any of the other wrestlers who naturally are athletic. That's my problem with Dominic.
What confuses me is this consistency where they keep trying to get him to do his father's shit. He's literally 1.5 feet taller than his father. He shouldn't be wrestling anywhere near the style of his father. He's not a fucking luchador. His father grew up in that lifestyle, and I guess he did to a degree as well. But he's not a fucking luchador.
Yeah, but but that's also one of the detriments to him. I mean, as much as I'm sure he wants to, I'm sure there's no like gun to his head, but he's going to get pigeonholed into that style as long as he's staying right next to his dad.
Which is why he needs to get the fuck away from his dad.
I don't know.
I appreciate the tip of the cap. I was the only one in the room who understood Dominic's outfit. So I got it as soon as I saw the mullet. I got it. I was like, all right, yeah, he's doing the Eddie deal from way back when. Eddie Guerrero and Art Barr, baby. Was it Los Gringos? Something like that. It was, I forgot the name of the fucking team. That whole outfit. It was that was a tribute to Eddie, and Ray did a play off of that with the Mexican version of it.
So how did you feel about the Logan Paul Eddie Guerrero disrespect?
Great.
I think that was a really big heel move. I don't know,
great.
Something.
Logan was great. His
you know what, man?
Everything.
God, I hope anyone listening don't hate me, man. I know we're gonna see more Logan Paul just based off of the way they finished that. I'm very interested to see.
They want him
because as much as a character as he is, and as much heat as he's able to develop, if he can perform in the ring, he might actually have a pretty good go at this.
Yeah.
Because he's got all the other stuff.
Yeah, he's very marketable. He knows the business. He gets that.
If you want to talk about entertainment, again, I know people hate him, but that's the fucking point. I don't think there's a lot of people that can pull hate. This guy just opens his mouth and they want him to like actually die, like in real life. So when you have that level of fucking heat on you, Vince is just drooling out them. I was like, yo, they hate this guy? They hate me. Oh my god, bro! Like, we just become best friends.
We're like, yep.
If we can get him more comfortable, I think he would be pretty decent on the mic too. I don't think he's used to big time talking like that, but he is comfortable talking. So if we can get the content better coming out of him, and that you can train. Yeah. Bring in some, I don't know.
You just said a second ago, can't train athleticism. He's got it.
He's got that. And you know what it is? I think that's part of the thing that made it stand out as well, that you can tell as much as you may or may hate this guy, he's athletic. He is athletic. He's got something that he has that athleticism, and standing right next to Dominic just kind of pointed out how bad that kid just does not have it.
Yeah, according to Logan Paul during an interview, he was giving wrestling as a business. He was giving wrestling so much props because they were like, that shit is. He goes, my whole life everybody's like, that shit is fake. He goes, I'm in a ton of pain. There's nothing fake about any of that shit. And then he said, he goes, when the match was over, he went to the back. Vince McMahon gave him a hug and said, hey man, your future is here, bro. Like they want him.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm interested.
I'm interested.
I'm interested.
If that was going to be the audition tape, I'm good. It was so funny. I got a taste of it last year. I was in the building when he got the stunner from Owens. And that's all it was. That was his only involvement, was the stunner. And I thought he sold it well. I said that wasn't a bad sell. So when it came to this match, I was like, well, maybe I'll get a taste of what he can really do. And I like it. I like it. And the fact that he's a legitimate asshole in an era where social media and everything and people were...
Oh, he's a social media god, unfortunately.
And all for the negative reasons. And I'm like,
that's perfect.
Yep,
Vince loves
perfect.
it.
I'll take it. Yep. I'll take it every time. Yep. By the way, Miz didn't do too bad. Anyway...
All right, we're not gonna take the fucking.
I was kind of confused by the switch when he turned on Logan. I was like, all right.
I think, and you know what? It's funny that you said that because my brain instantly went to
SummerSlam.
Okay, whatever. But what I was thinking is, I think Miz has been working with him a little bit, and I think he's thoroughly impressed, and he wants to work with him.
So they left an angle open.
Exactly. I think Miz was like, you know what? And obviously, Miz can kind of relate to him a little bit.
Yeah,
Miz,
from
where they come from.
Miz was Logan Paul before it was possible to be Logan Paul.
Absolutely. I honestly believe that if social media was as big as it was when Miz was doing his thing, he would have been a fucking troll, and people would have fucking hated Miz too.
Yeah. People hated Miz already before he even got to the WWE when he was doing the bullshit
I think Logan Paul worked with him. I think I think Miz worked with him. I think Miz saw something. I think Miz low-key really likes the guy and he wants to work with him, and that's why they did that.
SummerSlam.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
And a one-on-one bout between the two
would be dope.
That would be good because now he'll get some time to practice.
But here's the only problem with that. Miz set himself up to be the heel. We want Logan Paul as a heel. If Logan comes back to fight the mean old Miz who betrayed him at WrestleMania and puts him in a babyface capacity.
Dude, and this is how I know that his heat is real, because I keep having to preference everything I fucking say. If there's any person right now that I think could easily rip off that and turn Miz into a babyface, if that's what he wants to do, it's gonna be Logan Paul.
Oh, okay. Well,
I don't know if I want to hate him just to hate him.
Not a fan of babyface Miz, but all right.
But it's one of those things, like it was one of those greater of two evils type of deal, where he's not really a baby face. Like they boo him, they go boo, fuck Miz, and then Logan Paul goes, you know what, Miz not that bad. He's not that bad.
He's an all right guy in my book.
You know what? So yeah, exactly.
Well, the next matchup, was the main event of the evening. This was it. This was the end all be all for me. I was done with WrestleMania after this. I was like, this is the match I paid to see. I purchased Peacock just for this fucking match. Bianca Belair challenging Becky Lynch for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. 19 minutes, 10 seconds, almost 20 minutes of pure, unadulterated perfection. Perfection. Now, I have to ask you this, because even though I keep making it somewhat of a joke with you're not invalid. Every point you've made so far between these two ladies is absolutely 100% true. But the big question that we had asked you during the roundtable, does this match, we said it before we saw it, do they have the capability, I should say, of making up for what happened at SummerSlam in this match?
No, because they will always have that looming, the payout could have been better.
Okay, now, having seen the match,
I still believe that.
Still believe it. Okay.
That doesn't take away from the match.
You will never let these motherfuckers live down.
But every time you saw something hot happen in that match,
just makes you more upset.
It could have been better. It could have been better. Literally, could have been better. It could have been better.
As great as this match was, you're saying this match still could have been better.
The payout could have been better. Now, what this match did do, I will give it the benefit of the doubt. It did have a little bit of redemption for me. Okay. If there's one thing that I've noticed is this was the first match that I've personally seen since Becky's been back, where I feel like the people she's too good for the people around her. And the reason why I say that is because it's kind of like, remember when we watched that Triple H match recently?
Yeah.
And you could just see Triple H, and he moves different. He just moves different, and he tells a story different. His body language is just different. And it wasn't until like this match with Bianca, because I think Bianca, although still very new at it, I feel she's one of those, right? Like she's really good at her expression, whether it's natural or planned. I can't tell which one's which, because she has somewhat of a pattern. She'll come in at a big moment. She'll break character, it feels like, by just living in the moment. She like absorbs it, and then she just turns into fucking beast mode. Like all that excitement just completely out the window, and she turns her game face on. So I don't know if it's part of her gimmick where she's like, oh shit, I'm here. This is awesome. This is amazing. Smiling, crying, all that shit. And then when the bell rings, she blacks out and just goes crazy. But those two in the ring, there wasn't a point in time where I was like, dude, Becky, you're doing too much. It all meant something. It all felt like something. The facial expression she was making, getting pissed off and like, yo, what the fuck? I got to try this. I got to try that. I got to do this, I got to do that. It all felt like it mattered and it worked here. And I don't know if that's specifically because it's Bianca, which I mean, let's not who we get. Of course it was. But I think she just stands out. I think a lot of the women, I think she just does wrestling different. And Bianca's kind of on that level when it comes to that level of storytelling. But other people are just, I don't know, she just makes people look stiff, I guess, is what I got from it.
She makes people look stiff. Okay. Interesting take. Okay.
What do you think? No?
I can't refute. That's what you see.
No, I'm asking you what you see.
Becky's figured it out. When she does the whole I'm the man and I'm the top and this and that and so forth, blah, 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 she wrestles like it. And she fits into the category of a lot of less is more. And she has the ability, and I've seen this on a few occasions, it doesn't always work out the way that she wants. You can tell based on sometimes, you talk about Bianca breaking character sometimes. Becky has a habit of it too sometimes, of when things are coming off the rails or whatever, you start to physically see it in Becky's face. So sometimes she loses me in that. But other than that, Becky's ability to control a match is uncanny. I don't think I've seen too many women in history do it. The only other one that I can think of that comes close is performed later on in this show, and it didn't work out the way that she wanted. So I'm glad one of the girls got the match to be the way that they wanted. That was nice. But in this specific case, you could tell from the entrances, Bianca with the marching band entrance and Becky with the SUV and everything, they treated this match, even though I make the joke it was the main event, to me, on paper, when we were selling this match to our audience, I said on the roundtable, this is going to be the one. Yeah. This is the one, because this is the one that they're finally going to take the cuffs off. It's Mania. It's these two. They saw what Bianca did with Sasha last year. Sasha fits into the category of, oh, baby girl, you're doing too much. She likes to do a bunch of shit in her matches. Becky doesn't need all that. So it was going to be a different type of match. Before these two women locked up, I remember I'm having a party. I'm in a room with a bunch of people. I said out loud, I said, last year Bianca had a wrestling match with Sasha Banks. This year, she has to have a different match because she's in there with a different performer. Let's see how she does. She did it. Bianca's it. She is a full package player.
Yeah.
They said it on their own show. I've heard every podcast who's talked about WrestleMania since, even the Cornette one where everyone goes, she's a main event player. Male, female, doesn't matter. Bianca's a star. And I laugh because we sat here and we talked about, you and I, we broke down that list that I had found online of those college athletes that haven't spent any time in the indies or any time in wrestling at all, immediately coming out of their athletic sport and just becoming a WWE superstar right off the bat. And we were talking about how people were like, "Oh, that's such bullshit," and how do they get the chance to just skip all these steps and they're not paying their dues and blah blah blah. Bianca is a graduate of that program.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca didn't do any of the indie shit. She was an athlete, and then she went to the performance center, and that was it. And look where she's at. It's possible. Talent is talent. Doesn't matter where you start. Talent is talent. This is why I keep telling people on the indies, when I work with them all the time, you either have it or you don't have it. This isn't for everybody. Bianca didn't go through the same things that we go through. She
went through shit, though. That's ignorant to say she didn't pay dues. Yeah. She just didn't pay the dues that you paid.
Exactly. That's the same argument that I had with people when Ronda.
If anything, one would say she went harder. Like, her whole life was being an athlete.
Yeah.
You go on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So
she was a Division I track and field NCAA participant. She ran track and field for the University of Tennessee. You think that's an easy program to be running through? And one of the toughest divisions in the NCAA for 4 years, every day. And then she wasn't even just a one-sport athlete. Powerlifting, everything. Weight training. She spent her whole life being an athlete. But 310-pound fat fuck McGee over at Independent Wrestling Academy down in Iowa thinks that it's bullshit they're not paying their dues. Shut up. This is what you get. So it doesn't always work this way.
And that's ignorant to think that, like, there was a time where she was in some type of developmental stage.
Yeah.
You don't know what that fucking consists of, and I'm sure it ain't fucking easy.
No.
There's one thing to go
She
to.
went through Regal, Dave Finlay, Fit Finlay, Matt Bloom. She went through the tribe.
There's a different pressure to going to something W over in Kansas every week and getting up in front of legends who expect nothing but perfection from you.
Yeah, the same people. I could point. I shouldn't be saying this, but I could point to 30 people off the top of my head who have been in this business 20 years who wouldn't have been able to do half of the shit Bianca did in that match.
Well, I can point out to a lot of people
That's
in
what
the
I'm
world
saying.
who fucking did
That's
that.
what I'm saying. You either have it or you don't. Paying dues. That's the shit they tell you when they want you to. You know who pays a whole lot of dues? The people who don't have a whole lot of talent. That's who pays a lot of fucking dues.
Well, I'll tell you what, as much as everyone would like it, wrestling's not a union. So
Yeah.
seniority don't mean shit.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to get the best person for the job, and we're going to fucking move on.
And we're going to move the fuck on. Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch. What a match. Becky's
Great
going to take a
match.
break, I'm sure. And Bianca is going to go full board. We'll see what she end up left. I got to talk about the eye. Got to talk about the eye because we called it in my house when she went for that Molly go round or whatever that front flip was. Becky comes off the top rope, tries to go for some sort of front flip deal. She caught Bianca clear flush in the fucking face with the heel of her boot. I don't know if you saw her on Raw. Her face, her whole shit was fucked up, swole shut.
I didn't see her on Raw because I didn't want to watch her. Remember, I didn't watch it until this weekend.
Yeah.
Or the second half till this weekend.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to watch Raw because obviously that would have spoiled everything.
Her.
But I saw pictures on Facebook
Yep.
of a close up of her shit knotted up,
Yep. That was
smiling.
Yeah. Smiling because she's the fucking champ.
Oh,
And she probably got a hell of a lot of respect from that locker room, considering that shit happened very early in the match.
And she, of course.
And she still went out there and fucking bossed it up.
I'll tell you what, I didn't even really notice that it happened. So
I didn't know it was shut. We knew in the room, oh, that's gonna hurt tomorrow.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. I didn't even notice that part.
Oh, you
like
didn't
I just saw
notice
it.
it, yeah.
I saw it happen, but I was just like, my brain didn't go there.
We said,
you know what I mean?
oh,
And the
baby.
fact that I didn't even notice it the rest of the match just is a comment to exactly what you're saying.
The level of professionalism we're talking about here. Bianca Belair. Wonderful matchup. Now, I'm sitting here in my house at this party thinking, man, that's the best match of the night. Ain't nothing going to top that shit. Well, next up is Seth freaking Rollins. And apparently, in the Rollins household, both of these motherfuckers must have been talking wild shit to each other. Because they came ready to play at WrestleMania. Both members of the Rollins household. Becky went out there with Bianca, stole the show, went to the curtain and said, follow that bitch. And this nigga said, oh, hell no, son. We're not going to let this chick ruin this. No. Seth Rollins had a mystery opponent. And as everyone involved knew, it was literally, how did they describe it on TV? The worst kept secret in wrestling. Everyone fucking knew who it was going to be. It shouldn't have been a surprise. But guess what? Still got a hell of a reaction. Lights go dark. First of all, kudos to the choir. That was a nice touch for the Rollins entrance. Whoa, whoa. I was bugging in my house. I love that song. Kudos to them. Great entrance. But then the over-exaggeratedness, the pyro, the lights go out, random-ass machine sounds or whatever the fuck's going on. But when that shit hit, wrestling has more than one royal family. Oh, the room. The room shook at the House of O. It's the man. And then the logo hit on the screen, the American Nightmare colors. It's all out there. It's the complete AEW presentation. Cody comes through the ramp. It's the whole shebang. Boy, if you could... You know how they say on the internet now, that new meme, tell me that you want AEW to kiss your ass without telling me you want AEW to kiss my ass.
And then there's a still picture of Cody coming out of the ground.
Yeah, there's a still picture like a Diglett. He just comes out of the fucking... And I was like, what the fuck? Full entrance. music,
Everything.
Homelander outfit. He's
Copy
got
and
the whole
paste.
shebang. Copy and fucking paste. The name, the nickname, the entire persona.
Everything.
He
It's nasty. It was fucking nasty.
He must have been sitting on that ramp going, "I fucking won." That's it. I told the WWE.
You think he thinks that?
I would bet my entire life on the fact that he was standing on that ramp going, "I told you so. I told you so." This was the gimmick he pitched before he left. And this was the reason that he left. People forget this. He wasn't released from WWE. They offered him a deal. It was a $500,000 a year deal to continue to be an underneath talent. And they actually filmed some, because I remember seeing it on YouTube. Cody had released a few of them. He had created a variation, of very early stages of this gimmick, the American Nightmare gimmick, where he was this suit-wearing, just like aficionado type guy, and he was using Brandy as like his real-life wife, as like this valet, this beautiful woman that was by his side. He had came up with this heel gimmick or whatever, and they didn't think it would work. Because according to what we read and according to Cody's words, what he was told, the audience just doesn't see Cody Rhodes as the top guy.
I don't.
And at the time, WWE was not wrong. They did not see him like that. I didn't see him like that. And to be honest with you, they didn't help his cause when they made him Stardust. That was not going to help. There was nothing about that screened, here's the next top guy. Cody left the WWE on his own accord, and he said to himself, "I'm going to get over, come hell or high water. I don't care how it happens. I'm going to get over, and when this is all done, I'm going to show these fucking guys I was worth it." If you didn't believe, and I've said this a few times, and I'm going to say it on the show here, if you didn't believe for 1 second that Cody Rhodes at some point was going to wind up back in WWE, I don't ever, ever, ever want you to tell me kayfabe is not real. Because he worked every single one of you. He worked you to
that's
the
exactly
bone.
what it was.
That's exactly what it was. He played.
Do you think he played? Like, do you think AEW knew that was the case as well?
Yeah, I think he worked every six, because not to get myself in further trouble, but AEW was basically just fans with money. That's all it really is. He made every single person that he worked with believe that he was done with WWE. And he was all in, no pun intended, with everything they were doing. If you don't believe that he knew in the back of his mind, and it probably at the time was all true, because he didn't want to be in WWE. But if you didn't really believe in your heart that he had an open door,
saying that
to
he
WWE,
played himself, like he didn't even know himself that he was going back.
No. I'm saying he probably believed when he first left that there's a good chance I may not come back. So I have to, whatever it is that I do, I have to commit to it so that it works. I think Cody really did try to convince himself that he was going to be the face of this revolution and the face of all this, and I'm going to help these young guys get over. I'm going to change the business. I really do believe in my heart, based on the things that he said, that he believed a lot of the bullshit he was saying. But it comes to a point. It comes to a point every single time. Because, we've said this on the show, Tony Khan is a money mark. That's all he is. And in the beginning of AEW, he behaved like a money mark. He sat there and just listened to Omega and listened to the Bucks and listened to Cody. Oh, you got to get this guy. You got to get this guy. We have to go to this town. In the beginning, he did everything they told him to do because he didn't know any better. As soon as Tony got experience, as soon as Tony started meeting people, as soon as Tony started realizing how money works in pro wrestling, how booking works in pro wrestling, how working and writing a television show every week works. Once Tony realized what it was like to be in the business, all that EVP shit went away. Didn't we talk about it on the show that the EVPs were losing power? Mm-hmm. They were losing say-so. Mm-hmm. Cody was no longer allowed to do all the goofy shit he was doing.
You can feel it at the events too.
Yes.
Like, things don't go exactly the way that you.
The Young Bucks haven't been pushed the way that they were when they were in the beginning of this. Kenny Omega is not going to be the same Kenny Omega when he comes back. because
If he does.
he will, but it won't be the same because the EVPs got away with shit for so long, and then Tony finally woke up to the bullshit. That's why Cody left, because in the beginning, Tony Khan gave Cody Rhodes and all those EVPs everything they wanted. And Cody's a veteran. Cody is smart. He knows the business. As in his own words, since Cody's been back, me and Tony just kind of grew apart. Yeah, because he got wise to your shit. And you weren't getting the things out of him that you wanted. And he used the excuse of pay. Oh, he wasn't going to pay. He brought in Punk and he brought in Danielson and he brought this guy in.
Yeah,
and
he brought in actual high-level content, dude.
He brought in guys that are proven winners. You proved in AEW you could win. But you didn't come in.
No, I don't think he did, dude. This is the part that's so fucking annoying. No to everything you said. No to getting over. No to no. If you're the only fucking person there, yeah, sure. I don't ever remember being my mind blown with anything he's done in AEW, aside from the fact that he was surrounded by caca the entire time.
And that's what got him over.
He's
in
not
a short
over.
amount of time.
That's my point.
No, he was.
He's not.
I'm
telling you, he is not. This is all ooh and ah. And if you want to call that over, then sure, he's over. But besides that, when the dust settles, he is just going to be another Stardust. I'm telling you, man, this is fucking...
You're talking about in WWE right now?
I'm talking in general. This is all wool over the eyes. His in-ring performances are doo-doo. He is bad in the ring. He is not fucking good. His gimmick, not good. His entrance, the song, trash. I'm not hype on any of this shit. This is all doo-doo. All it is controversy, and that shit is all dust that will settle, no pun intended. Absolutely. That was actually a pretty hard
So, hold on now. Does that mean you didn't like this match at all?
No, it's Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Like, it's all spice, man. That's all it is. First of all, it was nasty to see. And maybe that's just my own personality and who I am. I understand that it's a business and you got to do certain things and yada yada. But it's fucking nasty, dude. I'm really big on people's word, and this dude was talking all this shit. And I guess, sure, maybe that means he did do a good job because I'm annoyed at it. But this shit is trash. It's not good. I feel like all the noise that you heard that day was all piped in. I really don't think the crowd. I do not believe that there's that much of a discrepancy in wrestling to where all the people in that crowd would have no clue on what the fuck was going on. And if that's the case, then that proves to me that the gimmick has nothing to fucking do with it. Because if they don't know what's going on, they don't know who the fuck this American Nightmare even is. So why are they cheering so hard there, but fucking hated him in AEW? It just doesn't make sense. That shit was piped in. Some people were cheering, I'll give you that, I guess, because everyone has some fans. But everyone that's at that level, at his level, will have some fans. Some people hate him. This is all bullshit. It's all fucking hype. It's all disrespect stuff. In about a few weeks, no one's going to give a fuck. And it's going to be back to the weird-ass matches. And he'll be going after the Intercontinental title in no time and losing.
Here's some support to your case. Because you just said a little while ago, you didn't get a chance to see Raw. Because you were saving yourself because you were trying to still catch up to the other WrestleMania.
I'm a classy broad. I was trying to save myself.
I'm a classy broad. Cody opened up Raw.
I bet.
To the sound of nothing.
Yeah.
To the sounds of nothing. Nobody moved. Nobody blinked. There was... See, the WrestleMania crowd, they made a reaction to it, but again, to your point, was it the controversy? Was it more of the I can't believe he did it kind of response? But whatever it was at Mania that he got, he didn't get it on Raw. And it was kind of eye-opening for people because they were like, okay, because for AEW fans who were shitting on it, they were like, you'll just wait and see. They'll see what we saw, and then they'll start booing him too. Right? That was like the overall kind of vibe, right? So if Mania was the pop for, oh, I can't believe he actually did it and he's here, Then Raw must have been that confused state in the middle before it turned into the boot. It was almost as if Cody came out and everyone just kind of fucking stared at him. And then his promo.
Yeah, they woke up. They're like, wait a minute. That wasn't a dream?
Yeah, and then his promo. And I said it immediately when he finished. I said, there it is. Here comes, they're going to start booing him again. Because, once again, Cody's biggest problem, he is tone deaf. Tone deaf. He has no idea that the things that he's saying will not elicit the response that he wants. Because he must have been in that ring. He must have been in that ring for 2 seconds. And all of a sudden, here we go. I'm the son of Dusty Rhodes. And I was like, that's it. He's fucking done. He doesn't fucking learn. That's the exact same bullshit that people got tired of in the old place. The company where you were supposedly over the first time around. They got sick of the same shit. He started fake crying and choking up. And it was a whole deal. And not because of his trials and tribulations as a performer. Not because of where he just was and how that went down and now he's back at this old place. No, he's sad and he's choked up because his daddy beat the WWE champion at Madison Square Garden but never won the title. And his brother never won the title. So I want to be the one who wins the title here at WWE. That's the storyline they're going with. Not
hey, bro, do you see who has the title? I digress.
Yeah. Wrong place, wrong time, buddy.
Yeah, this is the wrong era, buddy.
Yeah.
This ain't happening.
You got here during the era of the head of the table, my friend.
Yeah,
if you would have been wrestling here during the Jack Swagger era of things, or when Khali won the world. Oh, I forgot he was here during that time period. Never mind. Never mind. But yeah, I actually didn't have a problem with the match itself until the end. Cody and Seth were doing all right with me. I was enjoying the match. I'm like, yo, these 2 matches back to back, I don't know. And then we got to the end. And then he gave us the AEW Dynamite fucking finish, and I was done. And I said, no, I'm good. It's been forever since he's been. As a matter of fact, they mentioned it on the show. I didn't even realize it. The last time Cody Rhodes was at a WrestleMania was 32, which was in that same building, AT&T Stadium in Dallas. But he was Stardust when he left. And they had made that point, and I thought it was cool. But that was 6 years ago. And he comes in, and he's got the match going, and he executes the Cody Cutter, which I thought was hilarious, considering the company they're in, and they're allowing him to do RKOs. I digress. I was like, all right, I'll look past it. Maybe it's a Mania moment.
I hate that fucking move. He sells it so bad. He literally just flops backwards like a fish, and then the guy behind him has to do all the work.
I think my son said he looked like a Magikarp. He's into Pokemon now, so now everything's fucking Pokemon related. But he hits that. Cody then goes for the crossroads. I said, okay, this might be it right here. Boom, hits it. Doesn't even pin him. Picks him up, hits a second crossroads. Picks him up again. Has to hit him with the fucking Dusty Rhodes combo. Then hits a third crossroads, pins him. Dumb. Across the board. I didn't understand it. Up until this point, Seth Rollins hadn't won a match yet. He was on a losing streak. He couldn't beat AJ Styles. He got beat by Styles with one move. Couldn't beat Kevin Owens, got beat with one move. Cody Rhodes debuts at WrestleMania, has to hit him with a cement truck to fucking beat him. So, there you go. I was digging it, and then I went, lost me at the end. So
I was never digging it. This just felt nasty. I don't like it. It's not good. None of it's good. And honestly, at the end of the day, if I was Vince, I would be playing this guy to make him feel he's so welcome. And then Cody's sitting there like, I told him this is going to work. And he walks away with that I told you so feeling. And then Vince is sitting there like, dude, I cannot wait for this guy to he's going to prove himself wrong.
Remember what I told Xander during the AEW Revolution roundtable? I said, Cody, if Cody goes to WWE, he's going to be a hot thing for a few weeks. They'll be over it, and then he'll just be another guy on the roster. And I don't even think he's going to make it that far.
No.
Because his debut Raw already was crickets.
Yep.
So we'll see. Unless he does something out of the fucking ordinary that's ridiculously great at some point. It looks like he'll be fighting from behind the tide. So I didn't actually have a problem with this match. I just didn't like the ending. You said you didn't like the match at all.
I didn't like any of
Didn't
it.
like
I
the match at
just
all. And it was on there
this,
the longest. Look at this, 21 minutes, 40 seconds.
yeah, and I appreciate it because I was able to use the bathroom.
I had things I could do.
I took a shit. It was great.
It was
Great match. Great fucking match.
phenomenal
Great match
stuff.
Placement too, by the way.
Phenomenal stuff. Phenomenal
Perfect timing. I had to take shit.
stuff. So our next matchup here.
Real quick though, I will get. Let me not just completely trash it. I'm buying the Seth Rollins thing a little bit. If there was anything from what I got so hyped into just shitting on Cody that I just didn't.
Welcome back to the big leagues, bitch.
Seth Rollins, I'm watching you this year because I kind of was feeling what he did. I don't know if it was just the sheer annoyance with Cody that made me like, yeah, whoop his ass, but. I don't know, man. I'm gonna try to give him a little bit of break. Last year, or was it last year? It feels like last year, but it was probably a little bit longer ago. I couldn't stand Roman Reigns, and now he's probably like one of my favorite guys on the roster. So let me give Seth a good go here, and let's see what he does this year.
Well, that was the big. Did you catch that one during the match? Welcome back to the big leagues, bitch, and he hit him in the back of the fucking head. I was like,
yeah, I remember that.
I was like, Jesus Christ, they're not letting this nigga, they're not letting anything go on this the whole way through.
Nope.
Our next match is another match. Jesus Christ. I didn't want to. I think I came into this with Cody colored eyes. I did not want to like this match, and they gave me everything I wanted to not like this match.
I think I was. Although I was wrong with the botches, although maybe not, because there were a lot of subtle botches.
They were sloppy.
They were sloppy
everywhere.
But I was more referring to big botches. They didn't have over 5 big botches, although I think I was spot on with the charisma. Okay. The chemistry, that's what I meant to say. The chemistry just wasn't there.
Nope.
It wasn't there. It just didn't feel good. It felt like you have two stars on different pages, and then on top of that they may be 2 stars, but you have a superstar and then a star.
Yeah.
And that's a different level of imbalance. And it shows. You know what I mean? Like, this match and the way that it ended.
This was not good.
Fucking gross. Can you explain this ending to me, please? Because I don't understand.
I don't know.
Like, this is the one that ended in a kick, right?
Yeah, essentially.
So did they try to go for the opposite Mania effect? Because if so, they fucking nailed it.
This entire thing, I didn't, down to the promo package. I was just, I'm watching this shit beforehand, and I'm like, this shit feels so forced. They want you to feel like this is a big deal. And there's nothing about this that is a big deal. First and foremost, they're over, I think at this point, evaluating Ronda's worth. She's not nearly as over as she was when they got her. Her being away for a year hurt them tremendously because all it did was give people another year to just back. Wrestling fans look back on Ronda Rousey's run as champion as a terrible time in wrestling. And when she disappeared for a year, all the WWE did really was enforce that. They just enforced that theory that she's someone we could do without. So then what was the fucking point of that gigantic push? Then she comes back. She wins the Royal Rumble immediately. She's smiling all over the goddamn place. Nothing about this woman seems like the baddest woman on the planet. Nothing. There's no intimidation. There's nothing. There's no hype to it.
Again, that's the problem. They keep feeding this MMA shit. Dude, she hasn't been relevant in MMA since the knockout.
And what's funny is that she didn't end her MMA career in the most gracious of fucking ways in the first place.
No, didn't she come back and lose again?
Yeah, and she cried about it every single time. The MMA fans basically have disowned her at this point.
Yeah, she's not a big deal in the MMA.
She's not a big deal in anything at all anymore. She had an opportunity to be a big deal here, but she overplayed her hand. She thought she would be just a legend for forever. And instead of resting on her laurels and just doing, what was necessary to be successful here, she decided, I'm just going to do some other shit. Now, I get it.
Now I know her career was long already, just elsewhere, and that's okay. But I think that break just kind of killed it.
Oh yeah,
just like
all the smoke
there's
off.
no development there. There was no development, and clearly,
it's
not like riding a bike.
Yeah, there's no mystique like when we first got her, and it was like, well, how would she transition? How will she take to the pro wrestling game? And da da da. There was none of that from the return because we've already seen it. There's no mysticism. There's no what if. As a matter of fact, this isn't even the first time Charlotte and Ronda have wrestled each other. And of the 4 horsewomen that Ronda has wrestled, her worst match is with Charlotte. She's never had a good match with Charlotte. So why they thought this one was going to be the one, I have no fucking clue. But it wasn't. Everything that could go wrong in a match went wrong in this match. Their submissions weren't being pulled in the way that they wanted to. Their timing was off with one another. They were off step. Charlotte's titty came out. There's just everything that can go wrong in a match went wrong in this match.
They're way too good with these camera angles because I did not see that.
I didn't catch it on the catch that I caught was her pulling her top up. But somebody caught that titty on the freeze frame and put that shit on the internet. It's there now.
Like whole titty or like slip?
Nipple. You know how that goes. The nip slip deal.
Ooh.
Yeah. Nothing from like the whole
fucking
titties
weirdo.
now. If that's the best thing to come from that, I don't really have a whole lot to say about this fucking match in the first place. I didn't like it from word go, and it was one of the longest matches on the fucking of both nights. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Which is another issue that we had. We were waiting for New Day and Sheamus and Holland all night. And then when Charlotte Flair and Ronda happened, I was like, there's no way they're going to buffer that between Stone Cold and Kevin. And then they didn't. So we're like, what the fuck? We were supposed to have another match here. I go to the Wikipedia, and the match was moved to night 2. And I was like, oh, boy. We're having a timing issue on night 1? That can't be fucking good. Or maybe they just wanted to give Steve and Kev more time. I don't fucking know.
I don't know, but they really did them a disservice because their fucking match was like 10 seconds long.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. But yeah.
Yep.
But the no-holds-barred match, which, as far as I was concerned, wasn't supposed to be a match. That was the whole deal, right? We were going to have a segment. The KO show was going to end WrestleMania. And to be honest with you, I didn't know how I felt about that. I don't know about WrestleMania ending on a segment. I was kind of mixed feelings. I said it on the round table. I'm not entirely sure if that's the way to go here. I know from what we were hearing, it was hard to really nail down a match between these two and who's going to do what and how that's going to work and two massive egos working against each other. But they made it happen. Not only did it not just remain a segment, it became a match. Or as you put it, was it you who texted me? Oh, this is going to be a match. We taking bumps. I said, oh, okay. And I said that in my house. I said, this is not a match unless Steve bumps. And Lord and behold, I was like, oh, damn. This is a thing.
Yeah, but look, man, these guys that I've been fucking hating for a while really trying to fucking win me over. This guy, Kevin Owens, got that new contract and was like, all right, y'all pay me like real money?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna really try now. I'm gonna try now. Not only am I gonna try, but I'm gonna work out. That motherfucker looks great.
Yeah, he looks in shape.
He looks great. Dude, I remember when I saw with the Stone Cold thing when he came out with the thing on his head. Me and my boy was watching it, and I was like, dude, did he lose weight? They're like, nah, he probably just has like one of those. He's trying to look more like Steve, so he like uses like a corset thing.
I think I said that on the show when we talked about it. Remember I said
no,
Spanx?
That was you then who said it.
I said like Spanx or something.
Something like that. But then when he came out as himself, I'm like, dude, look at him. Like he looks great. He looks like in really good fighting shape right now.
And he's bragging about it. Did you see when he said that he had a bad back? And he was like, I hurt my back in the gym. I was lifting some weights. And he paused. He goes, so many weights. I was lifting so many weights.
I showed, when he came out, I was like, damn, man, he looks great. He's losing so much weight. And she's like, yeah.
It's funny how 7 figures can motivate a motherfucker to get
So I showed her a picture, like an older picture of him. And she was like, wow, he looks great. Yeah, he's like, yeah. And then when he went in there, and they started going, man. And then they're teasing like they're about to have a match. And then it happens. And then Stone Cold starts moving. And you're like, oh, this is cute. Like, Oh, this is
You're talking about
great.
the mud hole stomps, right?
Just in general,
It's very
But
ginger
yes,
movements.
yes, but his movements in general, you're like, oh, he's super stiff. Poor guy. He's probably got dust coming out of each joint right now. I was like, oh, this is awesome. You see him moving all slow. You're like, you just want to, oh, let's give him a "you still got it" chant, man. Let's cheer him on. This guy's awesome. And then momentum starts to build a little bit. And then now we're starting to get to the outside. And now we're moving. And then we're punching him back. And now he's flopping around. And then we get to the outside where we're like on the concrete. And then when they did that suplex, or when they're about to do that suplex, dude, I'm like, okay, they're going to reverse it. And, you know, this is going to be Stone Cold's bump performing a suplex on the outside. Because that still hurts both people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, that's going to be his bump. And when he took that shit, not only did he take that bump, but I don't know if you noticed, he damn near took that bump on one of the cords. You know that little rubber transition thing that hides the cords?
Yeah.
He landed on that. And I'm like, that's when I texted you, like, oh, this is a match.
Yeah.
Like
this is
like we're
real.
actually like we're watching Stone Cold have a match in 2022. Like this don't even feel like a gimmick no more. Like they're really out there fucking going
They're
for it.
They're swinging at each other. This is
and
a fight.
It felt like when he took that bump, I feel like although his body is screaming at him, his inner wrestling spirit just fucking came out.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Stone Cold emerged after that bump.
It's so funny that you mentioned the movement at the beginning of the match. I felt like after the suplex, he just became Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Exactly, like it awakened him.
Oh my God!
I think he was worried about the bump. I'm not gonna lie, I know for sure in his brain, he's like, I know I'm taking this bump. I'm nervous about it. And then when he took it and it hurt like a sumbitch, but knew he was okay, he just went straight into fucking Stone Cold again. And then it just felt like the bell just rung.
Smaller bumps around the ring, the shot into the post, and he took the camera stand or whatever to the back, and I'm like, this thing is getting his ass kicked. What's going on?
Like it wasn't just a beat me down. He actually had a legit match with him, and that shit was fucking awesome. The whole thing was just, I was the one talking shit on this match. Like, I don't want to see this. I hate nostalgia. This is dumb. They're just trying to get your guys' money, blah, blah, blah. Bruh, this was fucking great. This was great. It was really good.
This was awesome. This was I say that Bianca and Becky was the best match, but this was the moment of the entire weekend. This was even the second time when it came out later, they gave us a moment but in the other direction. We'll get to that also, but we're done here with night one. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Owens by pinfall. Kevin Owens gets his main event at WrestleMania. How about that? Against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Real quickly, before we move on to night two, did you get a chance to see any of the Hall of Fame?
No, I didn't watch
Okay. Only reason why I'm bringing it up, Taker's TED Talk, right? Taker did a TED Talk, essentially, at fucking the Hall of Fame. And last year, was it last year? I want to say last. Yeah, it was last year. Last year we had two nights, and 2020's Hall of Fame class didn't get a ceremony because of obvious reasons. So for night one, they brought out the 2020 class, and then for night two, they brought up the 2021 class. They were able to split it up. It was nice. This year, they only have the one class, and it was so for night one, they introduced the Hall of Fame inductees or whatever, and then Taker comes out, full entrance, but he doesn't have the gear on or whatever. He's committed to just being Mark now. So he's just Mark now. And he waves at the people. So night one, he comes out, does the whole deal. Night two, he does it again. It's back-to-back waves for a whole other audience. Hey, guys.
Good.
Thank you. I'll see you some other time or whatever. I bring it up for a reason. I'll bring it up at the end again. I just wanted to make sure we had that on record, and Taker did two back-to-back goodbyes. That bleeds us into Sunday.
Hold on. Real quick before we move on.
Okay.
I will say, I don't know how you feel about it, but because of this last thing I want to say because of this match and the sheer fact that Stone Cold took a stunner, I'm okay with Kevin Owens using the stunner.
Oh, because Steve Because
I feel like it was a passing of the torch, and it's him giving him his blessing.
Okay.
Now, when I see Kevin use that move, to me, that's only my opinion.
Seems valid now.
It's okay for me.
It's okay.
It will no longer bother me when he uses that move. I can't speak for everybody else, but that's how I feel.
You'll live with it. Okay.
I'm good with it. I think it's going to be a normal, that's your move now. Stone Cold let you use it. Not only let you use it, but you used it on him.
There you go.
So I can't bitch about that now. That's his move now. So fuck it.
Their opening match for night 2 here, so WrestleMania Sunday, as they call it. RK Bro defending the tag team championships, the Raw tag team champions, against the Street Profits and Alpha Academy. I told the world this would be a sleeper match. It was okay. It was an okay match, I thought.
You're just not a fan of the people in the match.
No, that's not true. I was actually looking forward to Alpha Academy's role in this. RK Bro, meh.
I know, you're not big on them.
I'm not big on Riddle.
I understand.
The
I'm trying
Street
not
Profits
to
was my issue with this match. I actually wanted to see RK Bro and Alpha Academy at WrestleMania. I did want to see that match. I actually thought that I still think now that I've seen this triple threat, it still would have been the better match. And the fact that Street Profits were thrown in here, I thought maybe they were thrown in because they were going to win the tag titles. They didn't even win the tag titles. They played almost no role in this match. What was the point of throwing
I think they struggle with the Street Profits. Like, it feels like they want them and they like them. They don't know what to fucking do with them.
Well, fair enough.
That's what it feels like. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know if sneaking.
They weren't even in. They weren't even present last WrestleMania. And then before that, the road to WrestleMania, they weren't present really either.
Their first WrestleMania was the COVID one, which was 36, 2 years ago. They weren't on last year's card, so I don't know if this match was. Well, we can't leave them off 2 years in a row.
Yeah, but they don't even. Let's see where the Street Profits are after this WrestleMania, because leading up to WrestleMania, I didn't see them. Like, I just didn't.
Yeah, I said that on the round table. They haven't done anything in weeks.
He's disappearing, and I don't think it's because they want to. I just don't think they know what to do with them. They can't feud them that well with the fucking Usos because they're not dropping the belts.
Yeah.
They're just not right now.
They're too hot of an entity right now.
They're too, dude. If I like them, that means they're doing well. Because I fucking hated those guys.
And this is a great point when I tell people this is what it takes to be a booker. I don't like Riddle at all. I don't like anything that Riddle does. I don't like anything that Riddle says. Nothing. But you have to be an idiot to not look at RK Bro and go, this shit works.
It's making money. They look like a group that would just print merch. And people would just fucking love to buy it. It's very gimmicky and it fucking works.
I'm going to get you the snake shirt, the RK Bro snake shirt.
Oh, dude.
With the hat.
I'll wear it everywhere.
I'll rock it to death.
I'll wear it to work.
The best part of this match was Chad Gable's cup slap. That was a very intense slap of Gabe Stevenson's cup. That was amazing. He shooshed the cup.
I think the best part was before he intervened underneath everyone's shoulders. Like, he dipped underneath everyone's shoulders.
He broke the circle to get to the cup.
Because he's so small, he like fit right in between everybody's shoulders and perfectly slapped the shit out of the cup.
That cup fucking sold it. It was mania. The cup was like, this is my moment.
Real quick, what are your feelings on this guy? Because I feel like they have the expectations of like a Kurt Angle, but I don't think they're gonna get it.
I was so upset with him on night 1 when they introduced him and he came out to what appeared to be a grandma knitted sweater, and I was like, I don't like you. Like,
maybe that's his style, dude.
Fair. That's who he is. That's who he is. I don't like him. There's nothing when he got in the ring night 2 when they did the beer bash or whatever. Not beer. I don't want to break kayfabe with what's in the cup, but I like the fact that Randy was smelling it. He was like, "There's something good in here. What is this haunting aroma I smell?" They gave it to Gabe. He executed a nice little belly-to-belly suplex on Chad. Listen, he's a collegiate wrestler who has shown a lot of promise athletically. He's gonna be one of those clean, smooth workers. But that personality level, is he a WWE superstar in that way? I don't know. I don't see it.
I'll give him a benefit of the doubt. He hasn't really said
He
or
hasn't
done much.
really done
So
much, yeah.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Physically,
on that.
that's the first time I've seen him do anything. Was that suplex, and it was
He
dope.
looks
It was a dope looking suplex, but
he looks strong, but he looks a little out of shape
yeah,
for me. But let's see if that's
we'll see. Yeah, the voters are still out on that. We'll
Yeah.
see. Well, the door may be closed on our next match because I said to the world at the round table, get ready for this Bobby Lashley and Omos singles match here. 6 minutes, 35 seconds. This was
almost Omos. I keep them saying Omos, so I think
everyone
it's
fucks it up. Omos.
But
I'll
it's
go
weird
with
because
Omos. I don't give a fuck.
Whatever.
I don't
I
give
was
a
impressed.
He started off so good.
You know
He
what?
started
For the
off so
size, he has to be one of the best big guys that I've ever seen. Like, not big is an understatement. Like giants. He's one of the only giants, me personally, that I've seen that moves the way that he does. He actually moves very well considering how large he is.
Yes. I'll give
Oh,
you
and
that.
that's it. That's it with you. That's where it ends.
I'm going to give you that.
Yes.
But I have other issues with Omos. And the reason I have issues is because, as I just said, he started off so well. The match was going pretty good in the beginning. But that's because I really believe now, I think he was exposed at Mania. And I think that hurts them as far as pushing him as a giant moving forward. He was exposed. And what I mean by that is that apparently during his training thus far with WWE, all they've really been teaching him is how to be a monster physically.
Mm-hmm.
So when he gets on the offense and he's sledging and he's slapping and he's doing all this stuff, all that stuff looks believable. You can tell he's been working on it. It looks good. He's not hurting anybody, right? He's working as a big guy. That's good. I can appreciate that. And
I'm waiting for the butt here.
Bobby was bumping for him and doing all this stuff. I was into it.
Bobby was great.
Here's the but. When the roles reversed, when it was time for Omos to do a little bumping and moving and grinding, he can't do shit. He is lost. He has no idea where he's supposed to be. He has no idea how he's supposed to maneuver. You said a second ago he's athletic for a big guy. He can move. Yes, but he doesn't know how. He can physically do it. We were just talking about Dominic. Dominic can do the moves. There's nothing really else to that. He's the same way. He can fall down when necessary, but he doesn't know how to actually take a big man bump. He doesn't know how to fall down. He doesn't know how to sell. He doesn't know how to, none of that shit. He's got no psychology on the other side of things. Bobby made him look great. When it was time to return the favor, he made Bobby look like a piece of shit. He couldn't get off the ground for the suplex. That first spear, the spear he took to the back was not fucking intentional. Omos was supposed to be facing the other fucking way. He was lost. How do I know? They redid the spot over again when it was over. Bobby got up, waited for Omos to get to his feet, hit the ropes again. This time Omos was in the right spot, hit a straight spear. That's what they do when the spot fucks up. Let me rephrase. That's what you do to rookies when the spot fucks up. A veteran who fucks up a spot, they're not going to do it again. They're going to go to the next thing, or they're going to recover or do something else. But so that the guy who's new, who's following a base in his head, doesn't get lost in the sequence of things, you redo the spot. So that they can go, okay, now it's supposed to be here. I got that now. Now we move on to the next thing. He was completely lost for the second half of that match. So I don't know if there was an audible call in putting Bobby over. I don't know how that goes. You didn't see Raw. What happened on Raw is Bobby came out to talk about the matchup. Apparently, he's full babyface now. He didn't have MVP at WrestleMania, and he didn't have MVP on Raw. All of a sudden, MVP's in the ring talking to Bobby Lashley, and it turns out it was all a swerve. It's all a plan. MVP turns on Bobby Lashley. He will be now managing Omos. Now, being a mouthpiece for Omos is fantastic. If I could never hear this motherfucker say another word in his life, I'll be happy. But he still needs time. He wasn't ready for.
Of course.
Okay, but he wasn't. They should have just had him beat another person's ass at WrestleMania. If they were trying to find a way, something for Bobby to do, I guess, but you can't tell me there wasn't a better situation to put either of these guys.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know how to quite put my finger on it yet, but Bobby's run here at the level that he's at right now is something different, and I can't tell if it's special or not yet. We will see. We'll just let it keep unfolding because we're living within it right now. But he is at the high level, but his track record right now, the things that he's doing, the people that he's wrestling, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing because although he may be a champion, he's a champion in my eyes. He's high level. There's something maybe this is their way to kind of figure it out by removing and letting him kind of just run on his own right now to see what's going on. But I don't know if they respect him or not.
Well, maybe moving MVP is a way for them to test that. Can he?
Well, I just don't think they respect him, man. I honestly don't because they don't. They do not protect Bobby Lashley.
No, they don't.
At all.
They don't.
Like, even as champion, they showed that they don't respect him at all.
He was eating a lot of pinfalls while he was champion. That's entirely true.
He was on his back a lot. And it made they just, I don't know. We'll see. I like Bobby Lashley. I like what he's doing.
I like Bobby Lashley, too.
But I would like to see it. I'd like to see it as a whole. And if they don't give him another run at some point, which is going to be really hard coming up soon with this conversation we'll have. But what they just did damn near crippled the entire championship situation. But
yeah, we'll get there. Yeah,
we'll get there.
We're almost there. Our next matchup, if you want to even call it that, can I call it a match? I don't know. There was a pinfall, I guess. Can we call it a match?
I will honestly say, if this is the direction that Vince sees in his head when he says entertainment.
Yeah, this is sports entertainment right here.
It's going to be hard to create this all the time because it's off the back of something special. If they can recreate, not this specifically, but like the feeling of entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, there wasn't a moment where I was like, this is not wrestling. This is stupid. No, it was meant to be fun.
Yeah.
And it was fucking fun.
Yeah.
It was, dude, I popped harder in this match than I did, I think, at anything. And this whole fucking, aside from that Austin bump, I got out of my chair. Like, I was standing up. I grabbed my phone. I was texting everybody I loved and everything. Like, I was just letting everybody know that it happened.
I tried my best. I did.
To have fun?
No. I tried my best on the round table to warn everyone. I felt like I was doing a sufficient job. I tried to tell people, turn off your wrestling brain for this match. It's not what this is going to be. I said it. We even made jokes, all of us. What kind of stunts will we see? I forgot who called the big hand. The hand came into play.
That was me. That was you? That was me. I'm taking credit for all of that.
Yeah. I said this is going to be a stunt show. And I didn't I say on the round table, I said anything goes, any no disqualification, any no holds barred match usually turns into a stunt show.
Mm-hmm.
Who better
than the stunt
to
man
do
himself?
Fucking stunt shows with than the stunt man him fucking self, right? And I forgot whether it was you or Matt who was just like, "Yep, the whole Jackass crew is gonna come. It's gonna be a whole thing."
I think we all collectively said, like, "Yo, this would be a good opportunity. Get everybody involved."
Yes.
Why not?
Wee Man gets in there. Party Boy showed up.
Wee Man, the man of the night, dude.
Party Boy. They ruined an opportunity. They should have played the music. Wee Man took more bumps than Knoxville did.
Wee Man was something special that night.
He took a haluva kick for real.
Oh my God. He went up. He scooped them. Not only did he scoop him, but he held him.
Ooh, Andre and Hogan.
He held him, and not only did he hold him, but he grabbed right behind the neck, shoulders, tucked him, and slammed him. Dude, I fucking lost my shit. I was like, dude, Wee Man's a god.
Yeah, he's in there. He's a made man. And then he took that. Remember when he took that stiff boot? Sammy just kicked him, man, disrespectful. He just kicked that dude right in the face. I was like, dude, wow.
If I told you, I would love to see Wee Man scoop Sami Zayn, your brain would never envision what you saw.
No. Sammy also based really well too for that. I was like,
he held perfectly. Thank God for wee man's beer belly. It set a good base.
Yes,
for
he
Dane
does
to hold
look
on
particularly more plump than the last time I remember seeing his.
The 2-second hold is what got me. It was it looked like a professional scoop and slam.
Yeah.
I know I sound like Matt O.D. impressed about it, but that shit was nuts. I wasn't expecting it. I think that's what it was.
A lot of the stunts didn't go as crisp as they wanted. The leg machine didn't really cooperate. The pyro to the butt was a little mistimed. The big mouse trap at the end didn't really want to cooperate. Knoxville got hit in the face. But you know what, though?
That plays to Jackass.
Yes,
though.
exactly. I was going to say, if you've ever seen an episode of Jackass, sometimes that shit happens like that.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's why in every single one of those situations, fucking Johnny Knoxville knew exactly what to do.
Yeah. And
he solved every single one of those issues.
Yes, he did. And it's so funny. Like we were saying at the round table, we'll say it again here. Who better to have in this match than him?
It's so funny.
Who better? If you turn off your brain for just a second, this was fun to watch. This was fun to watch.
It was awesome.
But this is also coming from people, me and you, who spent countless hours with Jackass and that whole era of television shows, and even down to Robin Big, just watching all those old MTV shows. Like, I was always entertained. I still watch ridiculousness. I like human beings doing stupid shit. I just do.
Yeah.
I enjoy. It's one of the beautiful parts of life to watch other human beings fuck themselves up for your entertainment.
Right.
I'll enjoy it. And I'm a wrestling guy. I love wrestling matches, especially when it comes to WrestleMania. I turned it off, and I had fun watching this.
And that's my point when it comes to if this, not specifically what happened, but the moment can be recreated with other things, I'm okay with it. See, I think this WrestleMania is probably going to go down in history as one of the better ones for not obviously not the past, but like one of the more current better ones because of how well a lot of the gimmicks actually worked in this one specifically.
Yep.
I definitely see them trying this again, and high chance of it not working.
Yep. As soon as something goes right, they got to kill it.
Well, I mean, if it works, again, this is what I think Vince sees in his brain when he says, "We're not wrestling, we're entertainment. We are a wrestling circus. We have storylines, we have wrestling, we have novellas, we have kings and queens, and we have all these types of different stuff that isn't necessarily, it's circled around the topic of wrestling, but it's much more than that. And this WrestleMania showed that, but I don't know how many people in the world could make you buy into it like a Johnny Knoxville. I just don't think there's anyone else out there, and you can't just keep having the same person on there all the time.
Nope.
So we'll see what happens. This is a very good WrestleMania, but also scary at the same time because I feel like it got the reaction he wanted, but it's going to be kind of tough to replicate, man. If Stone Cold was that nostalgia moment for everybody and it paid off, and I'm sure just like you said on the round table, when that screen went off, his theme song was in everybody's head. And just like I said on the round table, the Johnny Knoxville was night 2 of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody went and watched some old Jackass.
I did. I did.
Because it was,
I had it on my phone,
dude, it was great moments on both nights. Good luck replicating that.
Yeah. And then it was followed up. Fatal 4-way match for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Do you remember anything from this match? Aside from the fact that apparently Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan must be fucking. They've gotta be fucking.
I love.
I don't even think any of them.
Listen, let me tell you something. I love the look on my wife's face when she sees Rhea Ripley. That's all I'm saying.
Oh. All right.
No, but I was actually blown away on how this finished.
I
specifically
who went over or how?
Who I specifically said on the roundtable that it makes 0 sense that Sasha and Naomi win at all. Like to me, it just makes no sense. The people that look like they would win if they don't retain the titles would be Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And boy, oh boy, did I not believe that even more when I saw them come out. They actually look like a dope tag team. Yeah. The gimmicks, the way they dress, the way they act, everything like that. It just looks like they would be great together.
Yeah, but they were thrown together, and then immediately on Raw, they apparently they're in the midst now of turning Rhea heel. They broke up Liv and Rhea. They were never.
That's fine, but in the moment, they looked like the best. I would also like to say that I did state that there was no way Sasha comes out with Naomi because I think someone said it would be cool to see her do that.
With the glow. Yeah, you didn't want her to actually kill the entrance.
No fucking way that was going to happen.
Yeah,
so I'm glad they did it.
They separated it. Yeah, thank God for that. Yeah, I didn't see the need of them to drive a car 5 feet. Like Naomi jumped in the car, they went 5 feet forward, and then she got out of the car and walked. Okay, that seemed like a bit too much, but all right, it is what it is. I mean, you have the car, right? So fuck it.
If someone else does something cool, Sasha's got to do it, right? Oh,
hey.
Shot fired.
Bang, bang. Fatal 4-way here for the tag team titles. You already stated Sasha Banks, Naomi. It was what it was. They actually also broke up Carmella and Queen Zelina the next night. So there goes your tag team division, basically. Sasha Banks and Naomi have won the tag titles, but who they defended against? Who knows? Because we don't have any women's tag teams. Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
This match is going to be weirdly proving a weird point to me.
Edge and AJ Styles.
You don't sound too happy. I'm actually shocked.
No, I'm not.
So here's my thing with it.
Okay.
Not only was it the longest match by a mile.
Yes. Well, by only 3 minutes, but okay.
Not with what I'm looking at. Oh, you're talking about night one, which
longest match of this
night by a mile. But you also just made my point even more proven and more worse. If that, I know I'm saying more a lot with words that sound disgusting. Trust me, I know my sentences sound like shit right now. Yeah. But the Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins isn't. That didn't need to be that long either. Yeah. That did not need to be that long either. But with all the gimmicks and the fun and the pyro and all that stuff, this match was what you would call a pure wrestling old school match.
Yeah.
And it felt so dull.
Yeah, because you just saw a fucking 5-foot mousetrap 2 seconds ago.
This is what killed it for a wrestling fan?
Yes,
if anything, this is what they were waiting for.
No. But see, that's the thing. Okay.
Because wrestling fans want wrestling. And this was wrestling.
Let me explain to you. This is the best way I could put this, and this is why having sit like this on the same card is a problem. I just said 2 seconds ago, I turned off my wrestling cap to enjoy Knoxville and Zayn.
Yeah, but you got to turn it back on.
It ain't that easy a transition, especially.
Well, then that sounds like a you problem, buddy.
I don't think it's just me. That's the problem. Also, their actions, Edge and AJ Styles, their actual actions, the things that they were doing, and right from the entrance, it turned me off. I don't know if AJ was having a bad day.
Something weird happened. He came out busted open.
I'm going to explain exactly what happened. So I don't know if he was having a bad day. I don't know if he was just lost in the moment. I don't know what it was. But Knoxville and Zayn happened. It was a load of fun, but let's be honest. They set off grenades. They had mouse traps. They fucking did everything humanly possible to be a Heathcliff cartoon in the middle of this fucking show, right? So it doesn't help your situation. Styles, they had a package for Styles and Edge, and to be honest with you, that package sucked. It was all Edge, force-feeding this gimmick. There's no organic feel to this gimmick at all whatsoever. He just decided to be an ass. Like, you could be heel, you could turn heel, but with Edge being the sympathetic babyface for, I don't know how many years now since his comeback. He's on year 3 now of a comeback. And he just decided on a whim. He was just teaming with his wife, like, yesterday. And they were at the Royal Rumble being this sympathetic power couple and all this different stuff. And now he wants to be the most hated guy in the business. This transition has not gone well. So before we get to WrestleMania, I did not like this. I like the gimmick, but it hasn't had time to breathe. It hasn't had time to do anything. There's no traction to it at all. I didn't like the fact that he was coming out with the light. It was feeling very Taker-ish. Again, before we got to Mania. So I'm already coming into this sour. But I said, you know what? It's Edge. It's Styles. It is a dream match for me. I have always wanted to see these two compete. I know it's going to be a wrestling match. I said it on the roundtable. This will be your wrestling match. I would have appreciated it more if it would have been separated a little farther away from the Knoxville thing. But it is what it is, right? This is the order they gave us. So Styles comes out, he's bleeding. Instantly. Almost like like we were talking in my house. Did he Goldberg himself? Did he get hyped on something and cut himself? Blah, blah, blah. And he comes out, he's already bleeding from the face. He does his entrance, and his body language
is annoyed. He's like,
fucking
pissed.
Yes, he's fucking mad. He's pissed. He's frustrated. He does not look into what the fuck he's doing. And this is a lesson for young wrestlers out there. When you do that, you take me out of it. I'm out of it now because you're out of it.
Right.
He's not happy. He's in that moment, he wasn't AJ Styles. He was Allen, and he was mad. And I don't know why. And the commentators obviously did not know why, and they're not going to acknowledge it anyway. You know, they'll, at best they'll sell it, look at the intensity on the face of AJ Styles, whatever. But he looked out of it. So then Edge comes out, and I thought the blue light was Taker-ish.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold my beer. Edge comes out. He's got the throne. He's got purple lights now with a purple and black outfit. I said, this nigga went full Taker.
Mm-hmm.
Full Undertaker, Ministry of Darkness, the whole deal. The only thing he was missing was a cloak. And he would have been full Ministry of Darkness Taker. Which, for the record, I'm not going to shit on because guess what? Edge was in that group. So I don't, it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
But I just wasn't feeling that. I like the song. I do dig that as a heel theme. He needed to change that. He freshened himself up.
I don't know. That's what you lose.
Okay, but that's all right.
I come in expecting a certain level of Edge, and when I don't, he could listen to me. He could have came up the same exact way to the other theme, and I still would have loved it. Because I'm not focused on him. I just want to hear the song. Yeah. Like on big ass speakers. Like that's all I want. That's all I care about.
He changed it because people were expecting the song. But so far I'm not feeling this. And then they have the match. And I'm sorry. The irritation between the two individuals, I felt it. The entire match I felt it. And then there's the spot. My wife caught it. I actually missed it. I was doing something. I think I was eating chicken or something. And my wife said, "Did you see that?" I said, "No, what happened?" And Peacock fucking sucks. I can't rewind it. But they did do a replay at some point where they collided. AJ comes over. I think it was the 450 splash. He comes over. Edge puts the knees up, and they hit hard. So now Edge can't move his fucking leg, and Styles has to now sell his ribs for real. And this match is off the fucking rails. They're already irritated. They're pissed off. Now they can't move. Physically, Edge is wincing every 5 seconds. His leg is hurt bad. Because I don't know if Edge saw the knees coming. I don't know if that was called in. I don't know what happened. There was a collision there. They're just off. Now I guess that this is the first time meeting, and maybe, just maybe, I'm being sour on this match because I had such high hopes. But I said at the round table, didn't I say this? I said let's be easy on the expectation. Because we've been in this situation before. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. We said, this is going to be the greatest match in WrestleMania history. It was not. Now we're here again. What a great... Edge and Randy Orton. Greatest match in history. It was not. Here's the two of them competing against each other, and I found myself in the same spot. I was saying to myself, this is going to be the match of the night. It wasn't. And that was very depressing for me because I was like, this is a dream match. You have dream matches for a reason. You dream about the opportunity to see these guys compete against each other, and you get it, and I got the vibe the whole match. Neither man wanted to be in this fucking ring right now. And that was kind of sad for me. I don't know if that was the intention. If they're hearing this new way, I didn't feel that way. You tell your face. Because your face didn't know that you didn't feel that way. Your
Right.
face told me you weren't into it. I was off. The whole match felt off. We just criticized Charlotte and Ronda for the lack of chemistry that we felt that they had. No chemistry here. None.
Yeah,
Now,
but this one didn't feel like that they wouldn't have had it. It just feels like at least one of them felt like they just really did not want to fucking be there at all.
And
like
I get
this
the feeling it was Styles.
Yeah,
that's why I say I don't know if he had a bad day leading up to it.
So do you know what that situation was?
Yeah, so what happened was
bleeding?
yeah, so I was going to explain that. I forgot about that. Thank you. So the reason why he was bleeding, a fan caught it. I saw this from a fan cam. It was actual video footage. So the entranceway is set up like a star. So where the wrestlers come out of, it's the bottom of a star. So it's like in a V shape, right? AJ comes through the curtain. He has his arms extended out like he normally does during his entrance, and he cut to the right too short, and he slammed his face into the bottom part of the stage, and the metal grate hit him on the face. And I don't mean he bumped into it. He clearly didn't even fucking see it because he slammed, his head like jolted. It went bang. You know when you walk into a pole you didn't see and your fucking head snaps to the side? That's what happened, which was probably why he was irritated because it probably rung his bell for real.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you're going into a match right now in front of 77,000 people and you got a fucking major headache now because you walked into the fucking entrance. I can get that being irritating. Believe me, little things like that piss me off too.
There's no way that's what threw his whole match off.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't think that was the direct reason, but I just got this vibe from him. Like this was a bad day.
It was, yeah, you know how when you have that bad day and then stupid shit like that happens to you all the time? It's like he was annoyed all the way, and then that happened, and it just sent him to the level of just fuck everything.
Fuck everything.
Right.
Yeah, that's the vibe that I got. And I think that fuck everything rubbed on the Edge.
Absolutely.
Because I think Edge found out he was in the ring with somebody who just didn't want to fucking be there.
And it ruined his whole fucking moment and everything. And
I think it ruined his excitement. And then when they took the bump and he hurt his knee, and then Edge all of a sudden now is just not with it.
Now he's like, fuck it.
Yeah, now he's like, fuck it. And it was just discombobbled from moment one.
Yeah, it's a shame.
I said it. I think I posted on social media when as soon as he came out with the blood, I said he starts off the match bloody. This match is about to be fire. I was trying to convince myself of what I was seeing wasn't that big of a deal. When Edge gets in the ring, they're gonna snap out of it. They're gonna kill it. It never happened. They never snapped out of it. Whatever it was that was bothering them bothered them the whole time. And it's sad because I think they could have been the wrestling match of either night. This legitimately was a dream match, so I feel bad. But, it is what it is. So, Edge defeated AJ Styles. No interference, but Damian Priest was there. Even the finish was garbage. Damian Priest walked out there, and that was it. He just fucking stood there. And apparently that was enough to distract AJ Styles 100% from defeating his fucking opponent. And
it makes sense, right? It was part of the match. He was so tilted that when he saw Damian Priest, he's like, "Oh fuck," it's like, "Oh, what now?"
Yeah,
it was enough.
He was so fucking.
But he just
by everything else.
Just the sheer anticipation of something else bad happening distracted him enough to lose the match. It makes sense now. It all makes sense. It was part of the match.
Well, Sheamus and Ridge Holland finally get their moment in the sun when they go against the New Day here on night 2. Like you said, 1 minute, 40 seconds. There ain't shit to talk about in this match except for one thing. Butch! That's all I'm here to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking Butch. I know you guys know him as Pete Dunne, but fuck that. He's Butch now, and he's the best. This little fucking whippersnapper right here, he's ready to bite a motherfucker's eyeball out of his fucking head. I love Butch. Let me at him, Spike. Let me at him, Spike. I'll give him, Spike. Come on, Spike. I'll get him. Well, let me at him. I got something for him, Spike. I fucking love Butch. This motherfucker is ready to kill a motherfucker with his bare hands. I feel like if you let Butch go, he'll just drink the blood of his enemies straight out of their fucking head. This is great. Butch is the greatest thing on this fucking card, bro. I was like, this was great, fantastic. And he's little, so they just keep picking him up by the scruff of his neck like a puppy. It's like, hey, take it easy, Butch. Don't let me at him, Sheamus. Come on, Ridge. Get out of the way. I got him. I fucking love Butch.
I got him.
I'll take him. I'll give him what for. Oh my god, I fucking love Butch. He's the best. Let Pete Dunne die. It's fine. I need Butch 24/7. This guy's gonna be the best. Minute and 40 seconds. This is one of those matches that they could have saved for SmackDown or Raw. They didn't need to force feed this. Let's let it live. It's gonna be all right. We didn't need this match on there.
They promised the people, so they gave it to
They
them.
promised the people. They promised them.
Mm-hmm.
Pat McAfee and Austin Theory delivered in some way. 9 minutes 40 seconds. Your boy Pat came in, did his thing. All of the celebrities kind of showed up to this one, so I'm happy with how this worked itself out. Not much really to talk about here. Pretty basic, rudimentary matchup. Pat has trained, but he's not a seasoned performer, so they had to keep it minimum, keep it small, and they did. Until Pat McAfee got the big win. That was pretty cool. I don't like the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, but then again,
that was confusing because he's this full indie guy and he's like all about Indianapolis.
Yeah,
so the fact that was a little weird, but
wrestling fans don't watch sports.
Yeah,
they don't know. They don't connect those dots. It pissed me off because I'm a sports fan, but as a wrestling fan, I don't think anybody gave a shit. They just wanted to see boobs. They're all right.
Boobs.
Pat McAfee gets the win on Austin Theory, and then he overstays his welcome a little bit and starts to put the bad mouth on the boss.
Ooh,
now, we knew we were going to get here, right? We knew at some point.
I didn't.
Oh, well, I mean, that was the talk of the town.
Well, I don't listen to the town, so I guess that makes sense.
McMahon would find his way into a match of some kind at WrestleMania, and I'll get into that a little later as well. This is all part of it, but McMahon takes the shirt off. He's jacked to the gills, of course. This man has been on more juice than Tropicana can provide, but that he still looks sharp.
He does. He looks great.
He looks great. He's getting in there, and I love the football deal. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna keep it. You're not gonna tear your quad again, buddy. Just get rid of the football before you hook. Someone come get that grandpa. He's bugging again. So McMahon found himself in a matchup with Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee now the first individual in WrestleMania history to both win and lose in the same fucking 10-minute span.
Nice.
He's 1-for-1 WrestleMania history.
One night.
McMahon finally gets a win at WrestleMania. He's never had a win at WrestleMania, but it was short-lived as the glass would break one last time. Boy, they got their fucking money's worth out of this guy, didn't they? Austin comes out again. Big beer bath, gets rid of Austin Theory, and attempts.
Oh my God!
He tried with all of his might, with all that he had as a human being. He tried to give Vince McMahon one last stunner for goodbye. And McMahon, to his credit, I know everyone's talking shit about Vince, but after all these years, it's nice that in the last moments, Vince finally found a counter to the Stone Cold Stunner. All he has to do is play dead. That's it. It's just, if I just crumble to my knees in death, he can't stunner me from a horizontal position.
The kick was so devastating.
The kick to the gut wounded his organs and buckled his knees.
Even Austin could not laugh.
What JBL said, he folded like Chinese origami. He fell all the way to the goddamn ground, almost to the ground, until Vince literally neck picked him up. And then when he finally took the stunner, he went into a full sit position. A lot of people made the comparison. The very first stunner McMahon took was pretty bad. So it was nice that the last one he would take is the shits. That was the worst. I felt bad for Steve. I was like, man, I hope that's not the last stunner we ever see at Mania. And then he gave a really good one to Pat McAfee right after. Austin sold the Theory with that huge bouncy bump, but Pat McAfee's stunner cell was perfection.
See, I think that stunner would have been sold a lot better if he didn't flop the second time. The first bounce was awesome.
Yeah.
Austin Theory. When he went up, I was like, that's a sell. And then he fucking hit and did another like fish flop. I'm like, all right, get the fuck out the ring now.
Yeah.
Some people,
Austin, I think Austin cut it short too because I think Austin gave him a little push to get out. Yeah, cut the bullshit off.
Like, just stop the floppy shit. The bounce was epic. I was like, oh shit, he set that epic fly. And then he came down and just keeps bouncing. I'm like, all right, dude, you're not made out of rubber. Just get out of the fucking ring now.
He was trying to do that Rock sell where Rock does.
He said, I'm selling it.
This is the only stunner at WrestleMania I will ever take. I am going to sell this for the week. For the rest of this week, I'm going to sell the stunner.
I'm
surprised he didn't get like The legend has it he still sells to this day.
Still selling right
Austin
now.
Theory should have showed up on Raw with like some sort of chin guard or some sort of chin wear to sell the fact that his jaw is still suffering the effects.
Like, dude, I'm living this moment forever.
Forever until the end of time. Great moment.
I just love how everyone was like getting there. Like, yo, you could tell this is the last time this will ever happen because everyone's like, yo, stun me, please. Like, can you? I'll just literally just. I don't even care if it makes sense. Just tell me when. I'll come in the ring. I'll grab a beer. I don't even drink beer. I'm actually allergic, but I'll drink it, and then you can just stun me.
Yeah,
that's what I felt like. Everyone was catching stunners.
Jesus Christ. That leads us to our main event for the Universal and WWE Championship unification bout. Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. Now, much like the AJ Styles situation, we have to actually take into consideration the criticisms of this match. Finish came out of nowhere, way too short, hyped up to the moon, they didn't deliver. Well, it's now coming out that Roman Reigns' injury from that match may be worse than we thought. A lot of people thought that the Kimura lock had dislocated the shoulder, which, based on that bump, I mean, it could have been. But we're hearing now it may be more of a muscle tear than an actual dislocation. I actually think between the two, I would have preferred the dislocation, but it's whatever. If he's got the tear, it's
all right.
Listen,
they can make that work. They can slow walk him.
I forgot who it was online. They said, well, maybe he'll take time off. If he takes time off, he's still not losing the belt. They're not taking this belt off of fucking Roman Reigns.
He is going to take time off. He'll still be on the screen.
Not entirely. We just found out on SmackDown his next opponent is Shinsuke Nakamura, so he may not be.
Yeah, he's taking time off.
Yeah. Damn.
No, let's not pretend that. Let's stop it. I know there isn't anybody in here trying to act like Nakamura is what they remember. Please stop it. Stop it. It's like, bro, I need some night off. It's like, just give me Nakamura or something. I don't care.
He's still going, folks.
I only need one arm anyway.
Son. Oh, man. The
Japanese
Japanese contingent is ready to fucking fold your ass up, boy.
Come on, man. He's not the same person. Let's not sit here and pretend.
All right, this match in particular, though, wasn't really much to write home about, and I said in the round table, I was concerned, because this is the third time they've met each other at WrestleMania. Is there any way they could possibly do something that they haven't already done? And the answer is no. They went paint by numbers, big man, big moves, F5 this, spear that, Superman punch this, that. It's more of the same. And that,
well, it's just big personalities. That's all. Like I thought the match was fine. It was fine. The problem with people at that level of a Roman Reigns and a Brock Lesnar, unfortunately, their sheer presence is what carries the match. Like if you break down the matches, they're really nothing crazy. You can literally call it spot by spot. That's just the way they've always worked. It's just the presence, the fact that you're witnessing these Goliaths in the ring is enough energy to make the match. Oh, this was awesome, but it was more like, it wasn't really what was happening. It was just the people that were there that makes it so awesome.
This match to me is a symbol of something that could be a problem. I said I would mention this at the end, and we're gearing up toward the end here. So I'm going to correlate this match to my problem. These two individuals, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, you can easily say these two men might be the top two guys in the company today as far as the current roster.
Might?
Yeah, I'm leaving room for error here, right? I'm not going to say anything absolute.
Okay.
But
well, they are.
They are.
I'll say that.
Yeah, they are the top two guys. Everybody below them, kind of an interchangeable part, it feels like. You can move these in Seth Rollins, Edge, Styles. You can move these guys into different pieces. You can pre-show them one pay-per-view, main event them the next. It just seems like there's not a whole lot of stability on that roster.
I.e. McIntyre and Bobby Lashley.
Right. Okay.
Great examples.
Great examples of that. Last year they were in the WWE title match. Today they were doing Omos and Happy Corbin, right? It's
literally the greatest example.
Right. Okay. Here's where I see, or I noticed at the end of this show, a huge problem. One of the things that we left out here is that the opening of night 2 was Triple H retiring with his boots in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all spoke about this. I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago before the roundtable. Triple H did the interview where he has to retire. He has a defibrillator in his heart now. His
He
heart
has no
issues.
choice.
He has no
cannot
choice.
bomb.
So I just want to remind everybody and put everything into perspective here what this WrestleMania did without maybe trying to do it on purpose. We waved goodbye to The Undertaker on 2 nights. The gimmick in his head, the gimmick is gone. He was Mark Calloway for 3 straight nights. We had an Austin match where Austin was able to drink some beers with his brother and his family in the city of Dallas and wave goodbye. Triple H put his boots in the ring and kissed his kids and welcomed everyone to WrestleMania and teared up the ramp as he waved goodbye. Vince McMahon had his last match, we hope is his last match, where he finally gets a win. He's never won at WrestleMania before despite all the matches that he's had. He waves goodbye. Whether we want to admit it or not, at some point, the older people have to stop. Life will stop them at some point.
Yeah, tell that to fucking Ric Flair.
Life's been screaming at him for years. He keeps blowing. He keeps blowing the go home sign there. But WrestleMania 38 had a lot of goodbye moments. Now, who knows if these people will stick to it, because we've seen some of these guys do that goodbye moment before. But this one felt different to me.
Yeah, these guys don't have a choice, dude.
That's the part that I think why it felt different. Because they don't have a choice in the matter. Life has taken them to the next level, whether they're doing it kicking and screaming, but they're not. This is not something they can do anymore.
As many times as we've seen people choose their career over their family, I don't think Triple H is willing to kill himself to leave his family.
Well,
behind.
that's exactly what would happen. He would die. He doesn't have a choice.
But there are many people who let it be known that they'd rather die in the ring than anything else.
Yeah.
I don't see Triple H as that guy.
No, I don't either.
I think that guy actually does care about his family.
I always saw Taker as that guy. I'm surprised he's walking away. Be honest with you, I think he would have preferred to have died in the ring as The Undertaker. But my larger point is this. If we're going to say goodbye to these guys, and we should, it was an amazing moment for me personally to have my sisters and my mom in the room for one last Steve Austin moment. Like, that was nice, right? And that's what they did. They gave us a lot of these little moments, these little goodbye situations. But my problem with the whole deal is not. Let's say that this was the end. I doubt it. I'm sure one of these motherfuckers is going to be a referee or something down the line. But let's say that this was the end of that. And we're moving on to the next generation officially without any tie-ins to something else. Where on this roster is the next Taker? Or the next Austin? Or the next Triple H? And a follow-up question, if there's none, can we ever get back to a point where we create stars of that caliber again? Because if it ain't on this roster now, it ain't going to be Gable Steveson. It ain't going to be one of these yahoos on NXT 2.0. Braun Breaker is not going to be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. So,
no, but they do have people that can be the next star. I don't really know if I want the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, but they do have the new stars. But I've been saying this for many fucking years, and it was the main reason why every time someone says someone's going to make an appearance, I fucking hate it every single time. You cannot have those with the main one still standing there.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you just can't.
Yep.
You can't.
Well, they're out of the
You
picture now.
cannot develop these guys to be the next guy with the guy still fucking standing there. I'm sorry, LeBron, I don't think would be LeBron if Jordan still played at the level where he was. I don't think that was. It's the fact. It's when these people go, and then the next top guy. You can't be the top guy if the other top guy is still the top guy. You're not a top guy.
Is that also a reason you think they had Roman beat Lesnar clean? Is this now the beginning of the end of using Lesnar?
That's a whole nother conversation. I think this see, again, if we go back to the John Cena thing, I think they didn't have a choice because there was no one at that level with him. The level that he was at, I don't think there was, and correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't really watch that much.
No,
I
you're
did
not
watch
wrong.
a little bit. There was
wrong.
no one at that level. You
Yeah.
could not have a Lesnar-Cena match without Lesnar there. And you could probably say the same thing here, but we had Lesnar. And they are... this just proves that Roman's not going anywhere. Not only are they saying Roman is our guy for good until he's done, but they just said he's our guy for everything. Because now he has to lose to give up one of those belts.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. So now the McIntyre, the Bobby Lashley's, what now? Because they're not beating Roman. Not after you just had a match with Happy Corbin.
I don't see them beating Roman immediately. Whoever they're going to... because the whole point of putting Roman over this strong is to eventually have him beat by someone. They have to start building that now.
But there's a problem with that. You can't just build that. You got to beat that. Like, I know that sounds dumb. Obviously, they need the push and blah, 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 blah. I don't see who that person is. And maybe we didn't see Roman at that level either. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know the answer. But the problem is we have both belts on one person that is unbeatable. The gimmick doesn't support a loss. The moment Roman loses, the gimmick is over. This gimmick does not survive a loss. Even to the point where even Brock Lesnar cannot beat him, or it ruins everything. And if Lesnar can't do it, I don't see anyone at that level that'll be able to do it. Aside from a Taker or Triple H, and they're gone.
Yeah.
So I don't even see Cena doing it. I don't even think Cena ever reached that level.
Can do it now.
if Cena and Roman were both at their peaks, like right at this moment or at a moment, I feel like the Roman gimmick, he would be over more because he would be the heel and he'd be really good at it. And I don't think babyface Cena beats heel Roman. I think Roman pulls more money. He just has a team around him. There's more than just his face. The gimmick reaches farther than just within himself. You know, you see the Usos in the ring and you think the Bloodline. Not because everything they're wearing says Bloodline, but it's just a part. They are an extension of the gimmick. That's why, to the point when I said, if they drop the belts, there's a chance that Roman loses. If they retain, I don't think that he is guaranteed win. Because there is no way that gimmick survives with Roman taking a loss and not having a belt, while his two people who are supposed to be respecting him and kissing his feet have titles. It just doesn't work.
Question marks. Leaving from WrestleMania. Roman Reigns leaves the Ultimate Wrestler. Who can stop Zeus
No one.
in his path to destruction of the WWE? Can it be Shinsuke Nakamura?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Can it be? We will see. Look, WrestleMania 38 was a good time. It was a good time. Let's be honest. Was it better than we thought it was going to be? As a whole, I think it was better than it was going to be.
Way better. I think the concerns were because there were so many gimmicky things that it was going to feel awkward and not fun and forced, when ironically enough, the wrestling matches turned out kind of dry and everything else was fun.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Let's see what happens. So that's our show for WrestleMania, the longest WrestleMania in history, boy. Let me tell you, timing issues all night. Jesus, both nights had timing issues. So, longest WrestleMania ever. I'm going to go take my son to class, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for sharing. And, of course, this is the most important part of all. Thank you guys for enjoying episode 226. WWE WrestleMania. We close the door.
This is my daddy's 200th episode. If you'd like to sell buys mitts, t-shirts, mugs, tank tops, beats towels, phone cases. Go to ajorsini.com. This is my dad's 200th episode. This show keeps him busy, and he's not playing with me, so stop listening. But he's actually running me, so I won't fight.